Chapter 559. Ningqing felt a slight jolt and woke up. It must have been the airship starting. Ningqing felt secretly happy in his heart. Since the airship had started moving, it meant that no one had found this place. Looking at the still noisy cabin, Ningqing closed his eyes and continued to heal himself. With the help of the returning celestial jade scale pill, his injuries had almost completely healed in just 3 days. Even his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness had recovered a small part. As long as he had another half a month, Ningqing felt sure that he would fully recover. The cultivators in the cabin basically had their own fixed spots, while the old man sitting next to Ningqing still held a pot of wine in his hand. Some of the cultivators, who seemed to have reached the celestial bridge realm, set up tents in the cabin, with restrictions protecting the outside of the tents. There were also some cultivators who gathered together to form a small team. Ningqing looked like an old man, without even a celestial wheel, so no one wanted to team up with him. After Steward Lu sent Ningqing in, he also sent a few more people in. However, after the airship started moving, he did not come in again. It was already the 8th day since the void airship started moving, and Ningqing's injuries had fully recovered. Even his spiritual consciousness and celestial essence were about to fully recover. Ningqing had already decided that as soon as his cultivation recovered, he would go to Steward Lu. No matter what method he used, he had to get a place to cultivate. Otherwise, he would have to sit like a fool for a few years while the merchant ship flew through the void. Buzz. A sharp murderous intent made Ningqing subconsciously lean to the side. A moment later, a black light flashed and slammed into the bulkhead behind Ningqing. 2 celestial gatherer cultivators were fighting at this moment. The cultivators around the cabin only watched, but no one came forward. Poof! A bloody light burst out from between the eyebrows of one of the cultivators. Before the cultivator fell, the other cultivator fighting with him brought out a fireball and burned the cultivator to ashes. Ningqing felt surprised in his heart. How could people fight casually in this place? He had been healing here for more than a dozen days. Didn't that mean that he was carrying his head in his hands? Senior, can people fight here? Ningqing carefully asked the old man holding the pot of wine next to him. A few days ago, this old man gave him a spot. The old man said in a low voice, "Of course you can, but you can't make too much noise. If you make too much noise, the steward will come over and kill all the cultivators fighting. You're not young anymore, so you don't have to call me senior. My surname is Ji." Ningqing nodded. He knew that he was the youngest in this place, but it was because he had lost a lot of his lifespan due to the passage of time. At this time, his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness had recovered. Old fart, celestial novice ant. You actually dared to let us pass. Are you looking for death? Chung, celestial Chung. Ji to say B, celestial Chun. Ningqing sat down and did not move. If not for old man Ji telling him not to make too much noise, he would not have known why this celestial gatherer cultivator came looking for him. Now of course he understood. He had let go of the black light, causing it to hit the bulkhead, causing some noise. In case the ship's steward was attracted by this noise, this celestial gatherer cultivator would die without a doubt. As a grade 3 celestial array master, Ningqing knew that this cabin's defensive array formations were extremely sturdy. Although the celestial gatherer cultivator's black light had hit the bulkhead, it did not amount to much. It's just that this fellow was truly unreasonable. Ningqing had not let go, and that black light had blasted open his glabella. Should he just wait for death? Although this celestial gatherer cultivator's words did not make even half a bit of sense, Ningqing did not want to get involved. Therefore he did not answer. Moreover, he also noticed that this celestial gatherer cultivator seemed to have a few companions. Take out your ring and I'll spare your life, you old fart. The celestial gatherer cultivator, on seeing Ningqing not answering, his murderous aura turned even thicker, and his tone turned even more disdainful. Did you say you want my ring? Ningqing slowly stood up. Since you're not deaf, then take it out quickly. The celestial gatherer cultivator raised his hand and tried to grab Ningqing's robe. Apparently, Ningqing, a puny celestial novice cultivator, was nothing in his eyes. Ningqing raised his hand and brought out the treasured thunder spear, which drew an invisible spear intent trajectory. At the same time he spoke up, "I'll give it to you." As a powerful domain came crashing down, the celestial gatherer cultivator immediately felt that something was wrong. However, before he could do anything, the treasured thunder spear had already pierced through his glabella, without even taking a breath. Bang! Ning Cheng's treasured thunder spear had just pierced through the celestial gatherer cultivator's glabella when a fireball erupted, turning the celestial gatherer cultivator into ashes. Concealed cultivation? At this moment, all the cultivators in the cabin looked at Ning Cheng in complete silence. Even a fool would guess that Ning Cheng had concealed his cultivation. Otherwise, a cultivator without a celestial wheel would never be able to kill a celestial gatherer cultivator with a single spear. Even a sneak attack would not be enough. Ning Cheng raised his hand and put away the storage ring, before slowly sitting down again. The entire hall turned quiet, and at this moment, there was no longer any of the previous noise. The few cultivators who had stretched out their legs to stop Ning Cheng from sitting down felt their hearts beating wildly. They never expected that this seemingly unremarkable old man would turn out to be so terrifying. Even some of the Celestial Bridge cultivators did not dare to stand up and speak up. Ning Cheng could conceal his cultivation and kill a Celestial Gatherer cultivator with a single spear strike. Maybe he was also a Celestial Bridge cultivator. The Celestial Gatherer cultivator killed by Ning Cheng also formed a small team with a few other people. However, at this time, no one stood up and spoke up. What happened inside just now? Who was fighting inside? Steward Lu walked in and asked with a fierce tone. The entire hall remained silent, and no one took the initiative to come out and complain. Steward Lu apparently did not intend to go into it. His cold gaze swept back and forth a few times before he turned around and left. Seeing Steward Lu about to leave, Ning Cheng quickly stood up and quickened his pace out of the hall. After Ning Cheng followed Steward Lu out, the noisy voices in the hall once again grew louder. Almost everyone was talking about Ning Cheng's spear strike a moment ago. That spear strike was shadowless and invisible, and even some of the spectating cultivators could feel the sharp spear intent. A thin cultivator walked up to the side of the old man surnamed Ji, who had previously given up his seat to Ning Cheng. He first took out a pot of wine and respectfully handed it over to the old man, before asking, "Senior, the senior who went out with Steward Lu, do you know his origin?" The old man surnamed Ji gave a snort and simply replied with a sentence, "I don't know." After which, he no longer bothered to pay any attention to the thin cultivator. Steward Lu. Ning Cheng chased out of the hall and called out. Steward Lu stopped and stared at Ning Cheng with a cold gaze. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to speak, he spoke up. "I said that I would call you to a small room. If you dare to be so rude again, don't blame me for throwing you out of the void airship." Ning Cheng secretly cursed this fellow for being so ruthless. However, he still walked over with a smile on his face, took out a green card and handed it to the goateed man in front of him before speaking. "Steward Lu, I should have taken more, but unfortunately, I only have this much. 500 million green coins." Steward Lu's eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. 500 million green coins was not a small number. Do not look at the many cultivators that came into the hall. In fact, the amount of celestial coins that he could obtain was very little. Most of it was already taken away by the higher-ups, while he was just an errand boy. Steward Lu gave an sound, and with a slip of his hand, the green coin card that Ning Cheng had taken out disappeared. "Come with me." After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Steward Lu brought Ning Cheng to a place with a wine fragrance. He then took out a key to open a small door and spoke to Ning Cheng. "This is the place where the wine is made. You can stay in this small room for the time being. Remember, do not come out if you have nothing to do. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Also, do not enter the wine cellar. Otherwise, no one would be able to save your life." "Many thanks, Steward Lu. I will definitely not come out casually, let alone enter the wine cellar." Ning Cheng quickly cupped his fists and thanked him. He urgently needed to improve his cultivation. Having a place to stay was already a great thing. He was not in the mood to run around. The most important thing for him right now was to improve his cultivation in addition to improving his cultivation. This small room was only 4 or 5 square meters in size, but it was more than enough for Ning Cheng. Steward Luan, seeing that Ning Cheng was still tactful, nodded and quickly left. After Ning Cheng entered the small room, he began to arrange array formations. He wanted to use perpetual moon pills to cultivate in this place, so he had to arrange array formations. Ning Cheng did not dare to arrange a spiritual gathering array formation. Apart from defensive array formations, most of the array formations he arranged were concealment array formations, including spiritual consciousness isolation array formations, spirit concealment array formations, and so on. From the striking order star land to the grand culmination starry skies, one would have to pass through several void interfaces. Even a starry sky grade merchant ship or battleship would need at least a decade to reach the grand culmination starry skies. Ning Cheng had heard this from Shen Qinyu. Shen Qinyu came from the grand culmination starry skies and would never lie to him. For Ning Cheng, time was everything. He now had cultivation resources, and was also free. If he did not go into secluded cultivation, he would truly be an idiot. Therefore, after Ning Cheng arranged the various array formations, the first thing he did was not to sort out the storage rings he obtained, but to throw out a bunch of perpetual moon pills and start cultivating. Ning Cheng had obtained a lot of perpetual moon pills many years ago, but this was his first time using perpetual moon pills for cultivation. Perpetual moon pills had a soft white color to them. Ning Cheng only knew that this medicinal pill was most suitable for ordinary cultivators to cultivate with. As for the effects, he did not know. But now that he started using perpetual moon pills for cultivation, he finally understood why perpetual moon pills were so precious. The starry skies essence Qi contained within perpetual moon pills was extremely pure, with very few impurities. Moreover, it was easy to absorb. Compared to the starry skies essence Qi and starry skies crystals gathered by spiritual gathering arrays, it was several times better. This kind of cultivation effect was in no way worse than the praying mat he obtained from the bottom of the well. Ning Cheng's meridians felt like a bottomless pit. As he absorbed pile after pile of perpetual moon pills, his cultivation also slowly rose. Chapter 560. Ning Cheng opened his eyes and felt the surging celestial essence within his body. For the first time, he felt calm in the face of the rapid rise in his cultivation. He knew very well that his cultivation was nothing in the vast starry sky. In just 2 years, he had cultivated from early-stage celestial Shatterer realm to full-circle celestial Shatterer realm, with only one step left before advancing to the celestial Gatherer realm. Even if he had not advanced to the celestial Gatherer realm, Ning Cheng was very clear about his own strength. This level of strength was not much weaker than when he swallowed the violent celestial pill. From this, it could be seen that the violent celestial pill did not have much effect on him. Even the celestial bridge realm could only be simulated. A medicinal pill that did not have much effect on him. No wonder it did not have much of an effect on him. During the 2 years of seclusion, Ning Cheng never came out. That steward Lu also seemed to have forgotten about him, and never opened the small room outside the wine cellar. His starry sky sea of consciousness grew clearer, and his spiritual consciousness became even more flexible. Although his cultivation had improved a lot, Ning Cheng had never stretched out his spiritual consciousness in the past 2 years. It was a merchant ship that could cross the starry skies, which meant that it definitely had a powerhouse on board. In case a powerhouse managed to capture his spiritual consciousness, it would not be worth it. It's time to advance to the celestial Gatherer realm, Ning Cheng thought as he slowly exhaled. Before advancing to the celestial Gatherer realm, Ning Cheng took out the pile of storage rings. He had already erased all the spiritual consciousness tags on the 5 elements treasure fall copper coin. He also did not continue to refine the copper coin, as it was for Qianghua. He absolutely did not believe that Qianghua had left. Even if Qianghua had left, he would find her no matter what. Yu Clan's storage rings, in addition to a variety of talismans, contained a bunch of materials. Ning Cheng himself was a low-level talisman master. As such, these materials could allow him to refine some talismans when he had nothing to do. As for Yu Huangfu's celestial river-class battleship, Ning Cheng could not use it for his own use with his current ability. The only thing that made Ning Cheng happy was the 3-storied iron pagoda of Yushang. This three-storied iron pagoda was called the Locking Star Pagoda. The first layer of fog could lock the opponent, and after locking the opponent, the second layer could easily kill the opponent. The third layer was the domain-breaking array light. If the opponent's domain was too powerful, then the third layer of the star-sealing star pagoda would activate, directly shattering the opponent's domain and easily killing them. After everything was ready, Ningqing once again went into seclusion to attack the celestial gatherer realm. A few months felt like a few seconds to Ningqing. It felt as if he had just entered seclusion when he woke up. He had been roused by the shaking of the ship, and it was also at almost the same time that the ship shook that he advanced to the initial level of star condensation. Celestial essence surged through his meridians like a raging river, while his starry sky's sea of consciousness turned several times tougher. At this moment, Ningqing even felt that he could easily lock onto a celestial gatherer cultivator with the same cultivation as him if he stretched out his spiritual consciousness. This was a kind of self-confidence that came with great power, and there was no reason for it. So powerful, Ningqing finally felt a little more excited in his heart. In less than 3 years, he advanced from the celestial shatterer realm to the celestial gatherer realm. Although he had a lot of perpetual moon pills to support him, he also knew that no one else could have done it. If he wanted to become stronger, he would have to take more risks. If he had not gone to the time wilderness and entered the perpetual moon lake, could he have advanced to the celestial shatterer realm in just a dozen years? Can he comprehend sunset's twilight? Ningqing had just advanced to the celestial gatherer realm. However, this celestial essence was much richer than when he swallowed the violent star medicinal pill. Sure enough, this cultivation advancement was the result of one's own cultivation, which felt real and real. Continuing to consolidate his cultivation, Ningqing suddenly felt something wrong as he thought of this. When he had just advanced to the celestial gatherer realm, he felt the hull shaking. This was not the first time Ningqing had taken a void airship or a battleship. The last time he took a ship out of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, he had experienced this kind of shaking, which resulted in the ship encountering endless starry skies spirit-devouring rats. Did he encounter it again? As Ningqing thought of this, a clear voice arrived. Our fleet found a drifting starland when we were about to enter the void. This starland contains a lot of rare artifact crafting materials, and even starry skies spirit grasses for alchemy. Now all cultivators can enter the drifting starland to search for raw materials and starry skies spirit grasses. Cultivators who obtain raw materials and starry skies spirit grasses can sell them on the ship. However, cultivators heading to the drifting starland, please note that this drifting starland contains a lot of starry skies beasts. Ningqing's spiritual consciousness took the initiative to sweep out, and found that many cultivators on the lowest deck were rushing towards the bottom deck. These cultivators had gone through untold hardships to take the void airship to enter the grand culmination starry skies, mainly to obtain a variety of cultivation resources. Now that there were cultivation resources in front of them, how could they miss it? If Ningqing had not advanced to the celestial gatherer realm, he might have continued to stay in seclusion in the small storeroom. But now that he had advanced to the celestial gatherer realm, how could he miss such an opportunity? Several advancements proved that staying at home in seclusion would have limited achievements. If he were just a cultivator who stayed at home in seclusion, he might still be in the rootless Black City, or even the Rainbow Fallsword sect. Ningqing took out the Dao artifact mask, and once again changed his appearance to that of a starry skies wanderer. He then left the small storeroom, and mixed in with the many cultivators on the deck. By the time Ningqing reached the deck, the bottom deck of the merchant ship had already become crowded with cultivators. Although this was the lowest deck, everyone could still see the scene outside the starry skies. More than a dozen huge starry skies battleships were suspended in the starry skies, and in front of these starry skies battleships was a huge dark shadow of a starland. From this, one could tell that the entire fleet was heading to this drifting starland to search for treasures. Hurry up and open the restrictions, let us out. Some of the anxious cultivators shouted from the edge of the deck's restrictions. A middle-aged cultivator with a powerful aura came down from the upper deck. He glanced at the cultivators on the deck and spoke, "It is our luck that the fleet could encounter a drifting starland in the starry skies. But I want to tell you that this is also a challenge. This drifting starland is very dangerous, and there are a lot of starry skies beast hordes inside. I won't say much about it, but I know that even if it is dangerous, everyone will still go. While I open the restrictions, I also want to tell you a piece of good news. That is, all the Dao friends who obtain materials in this drifting starland can go to the top deck of the merchant ship to trade the things you obtained. Many of the Dao friends still live in the main hall on the bottom floor. If you can obtain good things in this drifting starland, maybe you can quickly move to the upper deck of the Essence Chi room. Now open the restrictions. I wish everyone good luck. The moment the restrictions on the deck opened, the cultivators who couldn't wait immediately rushed out. Not to mention finding good materials to sell on the upper deck. They could even live on the upper deck. Even the cultivators themselves. Which one of them didn't want to obtain more materials to improve their strength? At this time, all the restrictions on the bottom deck of the fleet opened, and countless cultivators swarmed towards this drifting starland. Ning Cheng controlled the knockoff battleship and mixed it with the mini cultivators. With a casual sweep of his spiritual consciousness, he estimated that there were hundreds of thousands of cultivators rushing out of this place. After reaching the periphery of this drifting starland, Ningqing finally understood what the middle-aged cultivator meant when he spoke about the large number of starry skies beast hordes. Outside this drifting starland, there were endless starry skies stone-veined spiders. Even before approaching the drifting starland, one could clearly feel the fishy smell coming from the starry skies stone-veined spiders. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept around and gave out a dark sigh in his heart. These fleets truly did not have any good intentions. The cultivators who came out now were all cultivators from the lower decks. Needless to say, these cultivators from the lower decks would only come out after the cultivators from the lower decks eliminated most of the starry skies stone-veined spiders. These lower decks not only earned a lot of celestial coins for these starry skies merchant ships, but they also acted as hired thugs for these merchant ships. Groups of starry skies stone-veined spiders, on seeing the various battleships, immediately rushed out. The starry skies stone-veined spiders spat out a multicolored spider silk and a variety of blade lights. The starry skies stone-veined spiders looked like a dense multicolored mist, without even the slightest gap between them. Some of the cultivators who rushed to the front could not even activate the equipment on the battleships before the battleships ended up entangled by the spider silk. The battleships gave off bursts of chi-chi sounds as the multicolored spider silk quickly corroded them. As for the cultivators who rushed out of the battleships, they generally only had enough time to send out 1 or 2 attacks before the starry skies stone-veined spiders' multicolored spider silk or blade lights swallowed them up. However, even more battleships shot out beams of light towards the starry skies stone-veined spiders. Ningqing knew that these were radium light arrows of various grades, as well as some radium light cannons. Swarms of starry skies stone-veined spiders fell to the ground, while the starry skies stone-veined spiders continuously blew apart the cultivators' battleships. Ningqing's knockoff battleship also occasionally shot out a few knockoff radium light arrows, indicating that he was also attacking. Although there were many starry skies stone-veined spiders, it still paled in comparison to the starry skies spirit-devouring rats that Ningqing had encountered previously. After half a day, the starry skies stone-veined spiders became even more sparse. Just when the starry skies stone-veined spiders were about to fall apart, countless battleships once again flew out of the dozen or so merchant ships suspended in place. The starry skies stone-veined spiders, who could no longer resist, immediately collapsed and fled. Ningqing only understood at this moment that these cultivators did not come out because they feared death, but because they did not want to waste the radium light arrows. As soon as the starry skies stone-veined spiders fled, the million cultivators immediately rushed into the floating starland. Ningqing naturally would not be polite. This kind of floating starland was generally an ownerless land. Whoever entered first would be able to obtain the best things. Although there were 1 million people, after entering the floating starland, everyone instantly dispersed. Soon, Ningqing could not even see a single person's shadow around him. In such a place, Ningqing no longer held back his spiritual consciousness and spread out. A bamboo exuding a powerful vitality appeared within the range of his spiritual consciousness. Although Ningcheng did not know what this bamboo was, he knew that it was definitely a good thing. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng arrived in front of this bamboo. This was a green bamboo that was only 3 feet tall. The bamboo leaves on it looked similar to those of ordinary bamboo, but they were much wider. Ningcheng was just about to dig up this bamboo when a figure appeared in his spiritual consciousness. Ningcheng sped up his movements, and by the time he dug up the bamboo, the figure had already landed in front of him. Chapter 561. It's you. Ningcheng recognized the black-robed cultivator standing in front of him. He did not expect to meet Lu Pingchuan here. Presumably, this fellow represented striking order Starry Skies at the grand culmination Starry Skies. However, since he met Ningcheng, it meant that the grand culmination Starry Skies had one less genius. Lu Pingchuan did not feel surprised that Ningcheng recognized him. He was a celebrity, personally named by Striking Order Heavenly Emperor as the 7th-ranked genius in the Time Wilderness trial. What was so strange about this ant without a celestial will recognizing him? You sure have guts. A cultivator without a celestial will dares to come here. Give me that green bamboo in your hand, and I'll give you some benefits. Lu Pingchuan looked at the green bamboo in Ningcheng's hand, and spoke with a calm tone. Ningcheng showed a slight smile. You want this green bamboo? Do you know what kind of bamboo this is? What use does it have? If you can answer me, I might consider it. If you don't know what kind of bamboo this is, what do you want it for? If not for Ningcheng not knowing what kind of bamboo this was, he would have already started, or at least told Lu Pingchuan to fuck off. Lu Pingchuan laughed. Today I'll teach you a thing or two. This is rootless green bamboo. As Lu Pingchuan spoke, he brought out a pair of symbols. The symbols brought out a powerful spatial killing intent that completely enveloped Ningcheng. Ningcheng did not have the leisure to talk to a little celestial novice ant. Ningcheng was just thinking that the bamboo he dug up really did not have roots when Lu Pingchuan attacked him. Putting the rootless green bamboo into the miniature world, Ningcheng raised his hand and shot out with the treasured thunder spear. Lu Pingchuan turned furious. He did not think that Ningcheng, a fellow without a celestial wheel, would dare to attack him in front of him. However, Lu Pingchuan quickly felt that something was wrong. The powerful celestial river domain instantly took control of the space between the two sides. It felt as if millions of tons of sand were dragging him down, causing the sluggish shackles to grow stronger and stronger. At the same time, the other party's treasured thunder spear's spear intent directly pierced through the domain and arrived in front of him in a flash. It's you. The moment Ningcheng's domain stretched out and affected him, Lu Pingchuan immediately recognized Ningcheng and immediately overflowed with killing intent. Since entering the Time Wilderness, he had been searching for Ningcheng. Later, he learned that Ningcheng had fallen in the Time Wilderness. However, he never expected that Ningcheng would appear in this place. Lu Pingchuan crazily stimulated his pair of symbols. In his opinion, although Ningcheng had a few tricks up his sleeve, but compared to a celestial gatherer genius like him, the gap was just too big. Bang! Boom! 2 consecutive explosions rang out. Lu Pingchuan's pair of copper symbols could not resist Ningcheng's thunder spear at all. With just 2 explosions, Ningcheng blasted them away. As Ningcheng blasted away the pair of symbols, his traceless spear intent also became clearer. Lu Pingchuan could not help but feel shocked by Ningcheng's power. His figure flashed and tried to avoid this spear. However, Ningcheng's powerful celestial river domain completely suppressed his domain. Although he managed to avoid the fatal blow, the treasured thunder spear still pierced through his shoulder. Treacherous, you hid your cultivation last time. Lu Pingchuan felt shocked in his heart. He never thought that Ningcheng, a cultivator without a celestial wheel, would turn out to be so terrifying. Just a single spear strike had almost killed him. Ningcheng did not want to waste even a little bit of time. His celestial river domain once again swept out crazily, while the treasured thunder spear once again brought out a shadowless spear trace. Poof! A bloody mist passed through Lu Pingchuan's glabella. Lu Pingchuan stared at Ningcheng. He could not believe that Ningcheng could kill him with just 2 spears. Even striking Order Starland's premier celestial scryer genius Fei could not kill him in such a short time. With a twist of the treasured thunder spear in Ning Cheng's hand, Lu Pingchuan's corpse fell to the ground. Throwing out a fireball, Ning Cheng put away Lu Pingchuan's things and instantly left the place. Ning Cheng had just left when a shadow appeared not far away. This shadow stared at Ning Cheng's disappearing back and murmured, "So powerful." Ning Cheng did not know anything about the rootless green bamboo, nor did he know anything about the uses of the rootless green bamboo. However, it was not as if he did not know anything about these materials. Mystical sifting wood, severing moon steel, cold chi heavenly silk. These were not precious artifact crafting materials. As such, he could still recognize them. In just a few days, Ning Cheng had collected a lot of these artifact crafting materials. As for the starry sky spiritual grasses, he did not find even a single one. Boom! A loud explosion erupted, and Ning Cheng felt a tremor under his feet. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to react to what was going on, an ice-cold chill almost penetrated into his bones. This bone-penetrating chill almost took away his entire mind. The terrifying killing intent made him want to lie down on the ground. Ning Cheng slowly retreated to a bare stone wall and leaned against it, feeling extremely shocked in his heart. He knew that in the face of this killing intent and power, he could not even resist. Chi. Another harsh sound arrived. This time Ning Cheng was able to clearly see that it was a knife. He had never seen such a terrifying blade before. He felt sure that if this blade landed on the starland under his feet, it might even split the starland in half. As the blade light descended, it felt as if half of the sky was pouring down. Even if Ning Cheng stood far away from the blade, the powerful blade intent and murderous aura caused his legs to tremble against the stone wall. Boom! Another loud explosion erupted, and the blade light overflowed with a fishy smell. What surprised Ning Cheng even more was that such a terrifying blade could actually be blocked. Then, a figure emerged from the void, a middle-aged cultivator wearing a golden robe. Blocking this golden-robed cultivator was a huge starry skies stone-striped spider. So powerful. Ning Cheng murmured. That senior is called Tangjiu, a powerhouse in the striking order starry skies heaven-seeded realm. That starry skies stone-striped spider is also very powerful. It should be a grade 7 starry skies beast. Almost at the same time that Ning Cheng discovered someone not far from him. This person's voice also arrived. Less than 3 feet away from him, there was also a celestial gatherer cultivator leaning against him. He had the cultivation of full circle celestial gatherer cultivator, with yellowish hair and a very delicate appearance. This cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng look at him, smiled at Ning Cheng, revealing his neat teeth. "Hello, my name is Zish Jun, from name Descendant Celestial River. My name is Ning Ruocheng." Ning Cheng casually came up with a name while feeling amazed at this Zish Jun's concealment cultivation method. Even his starry skies sea of consciousness could not detect him. Although he did not deliberately look for him, it still indirectly showed that this Zish Jun was an extraordinary person. Why would such a powerful celestial gatherer cultivator take the initiative to greet him? A starry skies wanderer without a celestial wheel. However, since this Zish Jun came from name Descendant Celestial River, could he inquire about him? Boom boom boom. Just as Ning Cheng and Zish Jun spoke, Tangjiu and the starry skies stone-striped spider once again clashed in midair, causing a storm of celestial essence to erupt. Some of the unlucky cultivators could only crawl on the ground, and could not move at all. The might of a grade 7 starry skies stone-striped spider made Ning Cheng tremble in fear. He even suspected that the spider silk could lock onto him. 2 more figures rushed over, but the grade 7 starry skies stone-striped spider seemed to know that it was outnumbered. It stomped on the ground with its long legs and instantly disappeared without a trace. Seeing the grade 7 starry skies stone-striped spider disappear, Zish Jun continued. You might not be familiar with Senior Tangjiu, but you definitely know about his elder brother, Senior Tang Yitong. Ning Cheng immediately spoke up. Yes, I heard that Senior Tang Yitong is an eternal level powerhouse. Moreover, one of the celestial scryer geniuses participating in this trial is his daughter, Tang Yu. Zish Jun smiled. Tang Yu took 3rd place this time. Her cultivation far surpasses us. Brother Zish is too modest. With Brother Zish's ability, I don't think you would be any worse than that Tangyu. Ningcheng did not speak these words casually. Just by looking at Zish Jun's silent movements, Ningcheng understood that this fellow was not a weakling. Zish Jun felt a little puzzled. It stood to reason that this cultivator in front of him should know him. He had obtained 10th place in the Striking Order Starry Skies Time Wilderness Trial. He had also obtained 10th place in the Striking Order Starry Skies Grand Culmination Starry Skies competition. So why did this Ning Ruoqing not know him? Since he did not know him, how did he know Lu Pingchuan? Ningcheng was just thinking about whether to ask Zish Jun about the name Descendant Celestial River, when he saw dozens of figures quickly flying past him, seemingly heading in the same direction. Zish Jun picked up the communication pearl and immediately spoke up in surprise. I found essence harmonizing celestial fruits here. Brother Ning, if you don't mind, let's go together. Essence harmonizing celestial fruits? The main starry skies spirit fruit for refining the harmonizing celestial pill? Ningcheng spoke up in shock. Within the vast starry skies, there were not many high-grade spiritual grasses. As for things like essence harmonizing celestial fruits, they were even rarer. Generally, for starry skies cultivators, as long as they advance from the celestial novice realm to the celestial shatterer realm, and then to the celestial gatherer realm, as long as they had good qualifications and a strong comprehension ability, even without starry skies spirit pills. Ningcheng himself was an example. He had used the praying mat to advance to the celestial shatterer realm, and then to the celestial gatherer realm, with the help of perpetual moon pills. However, advancing from the celestial gatherer realm to the celestial bridge realm was not a simple matter. Unless one was a top-grade genius or had heaven-defying opportunities, one would need starry skies medicinal pills. The best pill for such a pill was the harmonizing celestial pill. The main spirit fruit for refining the harmonizing celestial pill was the essence harmonizing celestial fruit, a fruit that was extremely difficult to find. Now that an essence harmonizing celestial fruit had appeared in this place, it was no wonder that so many cultivators were rushing towards it. Yes, it's the starry skies spirit fruit for refining the harmonizing celestial pill. Zish Jun spoke with certainty. Okay, many thanks for Brother Zish's information. Ningcheng agreed to Zish Jun's proposal without hesitation. The two also stepped onto their weapons and quickly followed. In just half an hour, Ningcheng and Zish Jun arrived at the place where the essence harmonizing celestial fruit was located. Looking at the dense crowd of cultivators bombarding a natural array formation, Ningcheng sucked in a breath of cold air. With so many cultivators trying to snatch the essence harmonizing celestial fruit, how many chances did he have? What's more, it was not just cultivators in the celestial scryer realm who were attacking the array formation. There were also many cultivators in the celestial river realm. Standing outside, one could vaguely see more than a dozen tall essence harmonizing celestial fruit trees in the middle of this natural array formation, each tree bearing essence harmonizing celestial fruits. Chapter 562. In this pile of materials he did not know many of them, but he knew that they were all treasures. This time he managed to make a fortune, thanks to the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. The power of the starry skies sea of consciousness manifested at this time. Ningcheng had only collected the spiritual grasses for a dozen breaths when his spiritual consciousness caught a strong suppressive aura. But soon, other cultivators arrived at this place. These cultivators did not speak, and just like Ningcheng, they crazily grabbed the starry skies spiritual grasses. With the help of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, even if Ningcheng crazily grabbed the spiritual grasses, his speed was still faster than the other cultivators. Plus, since he did not grab everything, no one took the initiative to sneak attack him. At this time, who would have the free time to intercept others? Every cultivator was crazily snatching. Low-level starry skies stone-striped spiders did not have much use, but grade 7 or above starry skies stone-striped spiders could definitely sell for a lot of celestial coins. I also saw it, that grade 7 starry skies stone-striped spider is already dead. Most likely, The things that the fellow who escaped previously were collected by the Starry Skies stone-striped spider. Moreover, he not only grabbed these things, but also a bunch of high-grade Starry Skies spiritual grasses, and even more high-grade materials. The cultivator who spoke also followed behind Ningcheng, but did not manage to grab many things. Zishjun was also among the many cultivators. Now that the essence-harmonizing celestial fruits and Starry Skies spiritual grasses had all been snatched away, the surroundings were in a complete mess. However, he did not see Ning Ruoqing, who had come together with him. This aura made Ningcheng feel horrified. He had encountered it not long ago, and it was the aura of a Starry Skies stone-striped spider or above. Such a powerful Starry Skies stone-striped spider, if he encountered it, it would be equivalent to courting death. He did not say in public that he knew who took these things. This time, he also managed to snatch an essence-harmonizing celestial fruit. Most of the cultivators here were empty-handed, and he did not want to offend a ruthless person like Ning Ruoqing for no reason. At this time, Ningcheng did not care about anything else and rushed up. With a wave of his hands, a large number of spiritual grasses started to disappear. Ningcheng was just about to turn around and escape when his spiritual consciousness passed through some broken restrictions and swept towards a huge Starry Skies stone-striped spider. Impossible. Not to mention the thunder firmament crystals. If there were any Starry Skies stone-veined spiders above Class 7, none of us would have survived. A cultivator raised a question. After knowing that Ningcheng had taken away a lot of treasures, more and more people started to feel unhappy. Ningcheng had only moved it twice, and it only took a few breaths of time for other cultivators to rush over. Ningcheng was just about to take another look when his spiritual consciousness sensed that this natural array formation contained more than just essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. In the depths of these harmony essence celestial fruit trees, there seemed to be even more Starry Sky essence chi fluctuations. Ningcheng walked in the front, sweeping up a large number of Starry Sky spiritual grasses along the way while rushing forward. Even if Ningcheng tried to snatch more, he could only take away less than half of the Starry Sky spiritual grasses along the way. Most of the Starry Sky spiritual grasses had already been snatched away by the newcomers. Under the powerful celestial river domain, Ningcheng instantly caught this murderous aura. He twisted his body slightly, and the murderous aura slammed into the stone wall in front of him. More than 30 essence-harmonizing celestial fruits were more than enough for Ningcheng. Feeling even more Starry Sky essence chi fluctuations, Ningcheng did not think about it and immediately flashed inside. When Ningcheng saw the large number of Starry Sky spiritual grasses, he almost felt shocked. These Starry Sky spiritual grasses ranged from grade 1 to grade 6, and there were even a few grade 7 Starry Sky spiritual grasses. Was he the one who took away so many things? The more Zishjun thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. Although Ning Ruoqing looked harmless, he was the most powerful celestial scryer cultivator he had ever seen. Even an expert like Lu Pingchuan could not survive even 2 exchanges in front of this person. Moreover, at that time, Ning Ruoqing had not even used his full strength, which showed how powerful this person was. This dead Starry Sky stone pattern spider was at least a grade 7 or above Starry Sky demonic beast. Ningcheng felt ecstatic in his heart and rushed inside as fast as he could. These things were all piled up together, unlike the scattered spiritual grasses, which gave Ningcheng a chance to take them away. A Starry Sky stone pattern spider that surpassed Starry Sky grade 7? Thunder firmament crystal? Even if he could not obtain it, he would not let this fellow have an easy time. But I only saw his back, and his appearance was blurry. I can't see it clearly. Draw out his appearance. This starland is not that big. I don't believe that this person could have run away. However, this Starry Sky stone pattern spider was lying motionless on the ground, apparently dead. The powerful aura that he felt a moment ago came from this dead Starry Sky stone pattern spider. Just now a cultivator took away a large number of essence-harmonizing celestial fruits, and a bunch of Starry Sky spiritual grasses. He also took away a Starry Sky stone pattern spider that surpassed Starry Sky grade 7, as well as countless thunder firmament crystals. After the angry long-haired cultivator came out, he found that he could no longer find Ningcheng's aura, and immediately started to spread the news. Unfortunately, he only saw the starry sky stone-patterned spider and the thunder firmament crystals. He could not even see the other things before Ningqing swept them away. No matter how powerful a natural array formation was, it would not last long in the face of the joint attacks of tens of thousands of cultivators. Ningqing had only arrived here for less than an hour when the natural array formation gave out a catcha sound. Immediately, several rays of lights from weapons once again shot out, and with a crashing sound, the entire defensive array formation instantly collapsed. Tens of thousands of cultivators swarmed forward like crazy. Ningqing did not hesitate to stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Originally, he was still at the back, but the twin wings of the heavenly clouds brought out a slight fluctuation, and he instantly landed in the middle of the dozen or so essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. The twin wings of the heavenly clouds brought out the speed and flexibility of a small space to the extreme. Many of the cultivators who managed to obtain benefits had the same thoughts as Zhishjun. Seeing that there were no more good things in this place, they immediately retreated. At this time, Ningqing's desire for the sky treasure silk grew even stronger. His twin wings of the heavenly clouds were more flexible than ordinary treasures. Currently, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds had only produced 4 pairs of lights, yet it was already this powerful. Once he found the sky treasure silk, the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would definitely rise to another level. Ningqing did not pick the outermost essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. The biggest advantage of his twin wings of the heavenly clouds was its speed. In just an instant, he arrived at the last tree, and with a wave of his hand he swept away more than a dozen fruits. In just 2 times, Ningqing had already swept away more than 30 essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. Ningqing was in a good mood. At this time, he was hiding in a remote cave to count his gains. Although there were a few cultivators who came together with Ningqing, no one cared about the others at this time. Everyone's energy was focused on the essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. Ningqing did not even think about it, and directly put the starry skies stone-veined spider into his ring. Just as he put away the starry skies stone-veined spider, a powerful murderous aura rushed over. However, even more cultivators sent out a variety of messages, wanting to capture Ningqing. Boom. The stone wall cracked open, and piles of various spiritual grasses and materials appeared in front of Ningqing. It turned out that this stone wall was hollow, and it also isolated one's spiritual consciousness. If one did not blast it open, then there was no way to see these things. Brother Ning, there is no way to join hands in this place. After we break through the array formation, we can only rely on our own opportunities. Zhishjun, on seeing so many cultivators attacking this natural array formation, understood that they could only rely on their own opportunities in this place. Ningqing, who was about to leave, immediately rushed over, raised his hand, and swept all the things into his ring. At the same time, he activated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and crazily teleported away. Countless cultivators in this starry skies spiritual grass garden discussed in shock. Thunder firmament crystals were priceless treasures for heaven-seated cultivators, not to mention the low-leveled starry skies cultivators. Tens of thousands of people were fighting for hundreds of essence-harmonizing celestial fruits, which meant that only 100 people could get one. Ningqing had just left, when the place where he was standing once again exploded with a bang, causing the entire stone wall to collapse. Yes, draw him out, and then we can all look for him together. Why would we work so hard to break this natural array formation? Yet all the good things belong to him alone. Okay. Ningqing nodded. With so many people fighting for these things, there really was no way to join hands. The cultivators gathered here, waiting for the essence-harmonizing celestial fruits, numbered at least 50 to 60,000. There were more than a dozen essence-harmonizing celestial fruit trees here, which meant that there would only be a few hundred essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. An extremely angry aura rushed out from behind Ningqing, but by the time it dispersed the surrounding cultivators, Ningqing had already disappeared without a trace. Chapter 563. It took Ningqing a whole day to sort out all the things he had obtained. Since entering the starry skies, he had rarely spent time on artifact crafting. Even if he had time, he would spend it studying array formations. As a result, he did not recognize many of the materials. However, whether he recognized them or not, Ningqing carefully put them away. He still did not have a suitable long spear. After reaching grand culmination starry skies, he would definitely ask someone to help him refine a long spear weapon. Therefore, these materials might come in handy. In addition to a pile of artifact crafting materials, he also obtained a large pile of starry skies spirit grasses. This made Ningqing decide to resume his old business after reaching grand culmination starry skies, and refine these starry skies spirit grasses into medicinal pills. He had once purchased 20 returning celestial jade scale pills, which were just ordinary grade 4 celestial river grade medicinal pills. If he needed other medicinal pills in the future, he definitely would not be able to buy them with money. Not to mention the ridiculously high prices, he could not even buy high-quality medicinal pills. If he did not have the talent for alchemy, then it would have been fine. But now that he had the talent for alchemy, why not take advantage of it? Despite obtaining a lot of good things this time, Ningqing still felt that the rootless green bamboo was the most precious. This thing had a kind of vitality that he could not describe. Unfortunately, he did not know anything about this rootless green bamboo, and did not know what it did. Ningqing did not continue to look for materials. It was best to quit while he was ahead. After waiting for 2 more days in the cave, most of the things on this floating starland had already been found. This floating starland was not a big place to begin with millions of cultivators searching for things inside. Even if they found some good things, it would not be easy to find them. As the cultivators began to return to the merchant ships, Ningqing removed his starry skies wanderer costume, and returned to his old appearance, mixed in with the many cultivators and returned to the merchant ship. As the cultivators on the 11 void ships returned, the ships continued to move. This time, the ships directly pierced through the void. Of these 11 void ships, the largest one was naturally the Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's Striking Order battleship. However, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor rarely came out. Even when he discovered the drifting starland, he did not appear. At this time, in a luxurious cabin on the 4th floor of the Striking Order airship, a beautiful woman wearing a purple robe frowned. In front of her stood 2 cultivators, a man and a woman. The silhouettes of the celestial wheels behind these 2 cultivators were faintly discernible, indicating that they were celestial river-grade powerhouses. But at this moment, the 2 cultivators were very respectful in front of the beautiful woman. After a long time, this beautiful woman asked with a slightly hoarse voice, "When did Lu Pingchuan fall?" The male cultivator once again spoke up with a respectful tone. On the first day that everyone entered the drifting starland, Lu Pingchuan fell. Moreover, he didn't even have the time to call for help. Most likely, he was killed when he felt that he was not in any danger. The beautiful woman fell silent again. After a while, she locked onto him again. "I will report this matter to the emperor. Is there anything else?" The female cultivator standing below took a step forward and spoke in a respectful voice. A life and death senior's immortal cave was found in this floating starland. In addition, a cultivator found a piece of soil that contained the aura of the breath soil beside a lake. What? Breath soil? The beautiful woman suddenly stood up and spoke with a shocked tone. Apparently, the breath soil had shocked her. The female cultivator quickly explained. "Aunt Sue, it's the soil that contained the aura of the breath soil, not the breath soil. This piece of soil most likely contained the breath soil, which is why it contained the aura of the breath soil." "Where is this piece of soil now?" The beautiful woman, addressed as Aunt Sue, still spoke with an anxious tone. "I heard that the Joyous Wave Chamber of Commerce obtained it. If they don't hold an auction for it, they will bring it to Grand Culmination Starry Skies to be sold." The female cultivator replied in detail. Aunt Sue nodded and sat down. She then said to the male cultivator, "You go to the Joyous Wave Chamber of Commerce now and tell them that we bought the soil containing the breath soil. You can discuss the price with them." "Yes, Aunt Sue." After the male cultivator finished, he quickly turned around and left. After the male cultivator left, Aunt Sue continued to ask, "What else does this drifting starland have?" A grade 7 starry sky stone patterned spider was found in this starland. This starry sky stone-patterned spider killed tens of thousands of cultivators, and finally escaped into the void after fighting with Senior Tangjiu. We also found a dozen essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. Aunt Sue interrupted the female cultivator's words. Essence-harmonizing celestial fruits are not important things. Yes. The female cultivator gave a respectful reply before continuing. Among the dozen essence-harmonizing celestial fruits, we found a large number of starry sky spiritual grasses, along with a dead grade 7 starry sky stone patterned spider. A dead grade 7 starry sky stone patterned spider? Aunt Sue frowned and seemed to be thinking about something. The female cultivator did not dare to hesitate. Yes, this starry sky stone patterned spider also collected a lot of materials. Some people have seen thunder firmament crystals among those materials. Aunt Sue nodded and turned silent again. Thunder firmament crystals were a very valuable artifact crafting material. Even top-grade starry sky powerhouses could use them. The female cultivator saw Aunt Sue turn silent again and added, "That starry sky stone-patterned spider, thunder firmament crystals, and a bunch of artifact crafting materials. I heard that a cultivator had taken them away." "Oh, such a thing happened?" Aunt Sue's expression changed again and immediately said, "You go and invite this cultivator here. I want to talk to him face to face." The female cultivator quickly spoke up. This cultivator should have changed his appearance. Many people tried to look for him, but could not find him. It seems that after he snatched those things, he never appeared again. I heard that he has a pair of twin heavenly cloud wings. In addition to that, there is one more thing. "What else?" "Aunt Sue, I went to the place where Lu Pingchuan was killed to check it out. Something had been dug out from that place. Even if that thing had been dug out, I could still feel a strong life aura from it. I have some guesses in my heart, but I'm not sure. So, I brought back some soil." After the female cultivator finished, she took out a jade box and handed it to Aunt Sue. Aunt Sue opened the jade box and touched the soil with her hand. Sweeping out with her spiritual consciousness, her complexion immediately changed and she stood up again. "Rootless green bamboo?" The female cultivator immediately bowed and spoke. "I also guessed that this was a rootless green bamboo. Now that Aunt Sue mentioned it, it seems that I did not make a mistake. This is indeed a rootless green bamboo." Aunt Sue's complexion fluctuated for a long time before she spoke up. "I didn't expect that a small floating starland would have so many good things. You immediately go to the major merchant ships and investigate who has the rootless green bamboo. I will immediately go see the Heavenly Emperor." Ning Cheng placed all the important things inside the mysterious yellow bead's 5 elements array formation. Even the magical weapons that he usually used and the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, he also placed them inside the mysterious yellow bead's 5 elements array formation. He did not dare to casually put these things in his ring, or carry them on his body. It was never wrong to be careful. After storing these things, Ning Cheng prepared to continue his seclusion. He knew that the merchant ships would definitely be very lively in the next few days. However, he did not want to go to such a lively place. At this moment, his spiritual consciousness swept out and detected Steward Lu coming over. Ning Cheng's heart tightened. Since Steward Lu brought him to this place a few years ago, he had never come here again. So why did he suddenly come here today? Regardless of the reason for Steward Lu's visit, Ning Cheng did not dare to be careless. He casually put away the array formations around him, opened the door to the miscellaneous room, and respectfully cupped his fists. "Steward Lu, you don't have to live here for the time being. Go to the main hall." Steward Lu went straight to the point. He did not give any reason, and directly asked Ning Cheng to go to the main hall. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. "Steward Lu, no one comes here. I went to the floating starland this time, and obtained some good artifact crafting materials." Not waiting for Ning Cheng to say that he wanted to give the materials to him, Steward Lu interrupted Ning Cheng's words. "You don't have to say these things right now. You have to move out." Seemingly remembering that he had received a lot of green coins from Ning Cheng, Steward Lu hesitated for a moment before speaking up. "Someone from the merchant ship will soon come here to check on everyone. It is not appropriate for you to live here." "Check. Why?" Ningqing asked with a surprised look. Steward Lu sighed. I'll tell you the truth. I heard that a great thing appeared in the floating starland, but it was snatched away by a cultivator. That's all I know. After these people check it out, you can move in. Ningqing secretly felt surprised, but still took out 2 pieces of cutting moon steel, and gave it to Steward Lu in a respectful manner. If that's the case, then many thanks, Steward Lu. I still have some materials on me, and I'm just about to go up and see the market. When Ningqing returned to the main hall was bustling with noise and excitement. Almost everyone was in high spirits. From this, it could be seen that everyone had gained something from this trip to the floating starland. Some low-level materials might not mean much to high-level starry sky cultivators, but for some ordinary cultivators, these materials were treasures. Many cultivators went to the upper deck of the merchant ship in groups to sell their things in exchange for the cultivation resources they needed. Senior. Ningqing had just arrived at the main hall, when a surprised voice rang out beside Ningqing. Ningqing stopped, looked at the thin cultivator and asked, Do you know me? But I don't think I've seen you before? The thin cultivator quickly spoke up. This junior's name is Shen Xuanyu, and I've admired Senior for a long time. Ningqing was just about to say a casual greeting and leave when he heard the voice of the ship's broadcast. All cultivators in the main hall immediately sit down and wait for the inspection. If you want to go upstairs to trade, you will need to wait for the inspection before you can go. Senior, I've managed a good place. If Senior doesn't have a place to go, you can come to my place for a while. Shen Xuanyu immediately invited Ningqing after hearing the broadcast. At this time, Ningqing's spiritual consciousness did not see the old man surnamed Ji. It seemed that someone had set up a small tent in his place. Thinking of this, he smiled and said, Many thanks, my name is Cheng Nianqiang. Shen Xuanyu felt pleasantly surprised on hearing Ningqing agree and immediately spoke up. This junior and senior really have some fate. Even our names are somewhat similar. My name is Xuanyu, and senior's name is Nianqiang. Ningqing did not have the time to answer Shen Xuanyu's words, when a powerful imposing aura pressed down on them. Everyone, sit in your seats for me. You are not allowed to make any noise, you are not allowed to whisper. Ningqing had seen Tangjio's moves before. Facing this powerful imposing aura, he understood that this person's cultivation was no worse than Tangjio's. Chapter 564. Another 6 years passed by, yet no one came to Ningqing's small storage room. Moreover, his cultivation had already reached the late-stage celestial gatherer realm. Although he had obtained many perpetual moon pills in the time wilderness, he had used up less than 10,000 of them. Even Ningqing could not help but sigh. His cultivation consumption was just too terrifying. Ningqing did not dare to hesitate and quickly replied, This junior does not have a master, so I always feel that my cultivation is not right. Some time ago, I thought that I had advanced to the celestial shatterer realm. However, compared to other celestial shatterer cultivators, I feel like I am still lacking something. At this moment, Ningqing's mind raced with countless thoughts, but he quickly found the words he should say. Senior, this junior is indeed not that old. This time, my hair has turned white because I accidentally went to the Sea of Twilight, which is why I ended up like this. After half an incense stick worth of time, a middle-aged beautiful woman appeared at the door of the cabin. The middle-aged beautiful woman swept her gaze over the cultivators in the cabin hall, and slowly walked in. After returning to the small storage room, Ningqing continued to seal up his position with the array formation. Just as Ningqing thought, Steward Lu did not come over. He did not even go to the big cabin to ask about Ningqing's whereabouts. For him, Ningqing's life or death had nothing to do with him. The beautiful woman gave a cold snort. If you can't reason with me, then you don't have to say anything about forgiveness. Killing a puny celestial scryer cultivator, like you would be like crushing an ant to me. Ningqing shuddered. How could he not understand the meaning behind this beautiful woman's words? If the other party wanted to kill him, how could he compare to an ant? When he reached the 3rd floor, Ningqing's eyes immediately swept across the bustling streets of the cabin. Many cultivators brought their own materials to this floor to trade and sell. Ningqing slowly took in a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. He stood up and spoke with a respectful voice. This junior is Cheng Nianqiang from Striking Order Star Land. After an incense stick worth of time, the beautiful woman's gaze once again fell on Ningqing. What's your name? Where are you from? Yes. Ningqing knew that at this time, he had no other choice. The beautiful woman drank a mouthful of spiritual tea and said, If I'm not wrong, you look very old with white hair, but your actual age is frighteningly young. When I was young, I didn't even dare to think about it. If you weren't possessed, then your aptitude must be incomparably shocking. But from what I saw just now, your souls are incomparably fused, so it's impossible for you to have taken over my body. Ningqing did not intend to continue with his seclusion. Sweeping out with his spiritual consciousness, he found that the main hall was bustling with activity, with many cultivators rushing to the bottom deck. Ningqing felt his heart move. He quickly packed up all his things and followed the other cultivators out. He guessed that they should have arrived at the grand culmination starry sky. At that moment, some of the cultivators who had left the main cabin hall came running back. Each of them carefully sat in a corner. Although the main cabin hall was large, no one dared to speak. Senior's aptitude is many times better than this junior's. Besides, this junior lost his lifespan in the Sea of Twilight and became so old. Even if someone tried to possess me, they wouldn't care about this junior. He felt uneasy and didn't know why he was called out alone. For him to address a beautiful woman as senior, with white hair, it felt a bit funny. Is that the reason? The beautiful woman didn't expect that Ningqing would fear possession, which was why he didn't dare to look for his master to figure it out. Cultivating until now, it was this kid's luck that he hadn't experienced cultivation deviation. The beautiful woman didn't comment on Ningqing's words. Instead, she looked at Ningqing again and said, Come with me. Ningqing didn't dare to say that he was a celestial gatherer cultivator. His words were ambiguous, and he couldn't even feel his cultivation. Even if this beautiful woman could see through his cultivation, so what? He could say that without a master to teach him, he wouldn't be able to figure it out. The beautiful woman brought Ningqing to a luxurious cabin on the top floor of the merchant ship. Seeing Ningqing looking a little nervous, she casually spoke up. You don't have to be nervous. I just want to ask you a few questions. How could there be such a coincidence in this world? Ningqing's twin wings of the heavenly clouds needed the sky treasure silk, which was why he saw the sky treasure silk being auctioned. Ningqing knew that facing a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm, he didn't have the ability to resist. Giving out a sigh, he spoke. Senior, this junior comes from a very low-level planet. On that low-level planet, this junior had a master. My master told me that my qualifications were rare even in 100 million years. He told me not to let others know about my qualifications. Otherwise, I might end up being possessed. So what am I not afraid of now? Drifting Starland Auction. A few huge words appeared in front of Ningqing's eyes. Below it was a huge signboard with a long list of the names of various treasures. Although Ningqing didn't want to participate in the auction, he still swept out with his spiritual consciousness. What's your cultivation now? Why did you say that your qualifications are poor? The beautiful woman didn't let Ningqing sit down. Instead, she sat down. Time passed quickly as Ningqing went into seclusion. Along the way, Ningqing felt that the merchant ship had stopped a few times. Sweeping out with his spiritual consciousness, he felt as if he had encountered a group of starry sky beasts. However, Steward Lu didn't come to find him, and Ningqing also didn't come out. Feeling Ningqing's mentality of breaking a jar, the beautiful woman waved at Ningqing. Before, she always felt that something was wrong with Ningqing. As for what was wrong, she couldn't tell. Now that she heard Ningqing's explanation, she felt relieved. A genius from a low-level planet, who had never seen the world, thought that others would remember his qualifications. However, he didn't know that although his qualifications were good, he was far from being a genius in grand culmination starry skies. If I said that you lied to me, and that you are, in fact, the cultivator with the best qualifications I have ever seen, what would you think? The beautiful woman spoke in a casual tone, and poured herself a cup of spiritual tea. When Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell on the signboard, his footsteps slowed down. He actually saw the Sky Treasure Silk. This auction had the Sky Treasure Silk for sale, which he needed right now. Oh, if that's the case, then why did you tell me that your qualifications are average? The beautiful woman's tone was calm, but the sharp killing intent had already penetrated Ning Cheng's mind. An ordinary cultivator would have long since found it unbearable. Fortunately, Ning Cheng wasn't an ordinary cultivator. He possessed a starry sky sea of consciousness. Not only did he have a powerful essence spirit, but his soul was also extremely tough. This junior has always adhered to Master's teachings. After entering the starry skies, I didn't even dare to enter a sect. As a result, I still haven't managed to cultivate a celestial wheel. This junior also decided to go all out to find a sect in Grand Culmination Starry Skies. I heard that Grand Culmination Starry Skies has many geniuses with powerful qualifications. Although this junior's qualifications are good, it shouldn't be too special. Ning Cheng didn't return to the cabin hall, but returned to the small room outside the wine cellar. He didn't go to tell Steward Liu. If Steward Liu came, he could also say that he had already been inspected. Because they had just passed by a floating starland, all the merchant ships were holding auctions, and the streets were bustling with activity. Only Ning Cheng hid in his small room, and continued to go into seclusion to consolidate his cultivation. Although this beautiful woman's spiritual consciousness had not yet fallen on him, Ning Cheng felt sure that this beautiful woman had at least reached the heaven-seated realm. I beg Senior to forgive me. Ning Cheng quickly bowed again. He felt helpless in his heart. Strength. In this place, he really couldn't even compare to an ant. Ning Cheng understood the power of a heaven-seated cultivator. Previously, his spiritual consciousness had only caught a glimpse of the killing intent from Tang Jiu's saber, and it had almost suppressed him to the ground. Ning Cheng immediately felt his ring completely penetrate. This ring was just a very ordinary ring. Ning Cheng had put some artifact crafting materials inside the ring, along with a few ordinary weapons, and a low-grade Dao artifact short spear. The beautiful woman shook her head silently. Your qualifications are indeed good, but it is nothing in Grand Culmination Starry Skies. You don't have to be so cautious. You can go down. The beautiful woman's spiritual consciousness swept past the cultivators. Ning Cheng noticed that when this beautiful woman's spiritual consciousness swept past them, these cultivators all turned pale. Some of the weaker cultivators even started to break out in cold sweat. Ning Cheng felt relieved in his heart. As he carefully retreated, he decided to go back and never come out again. If he didn't have the mysterious yellow bead that no one could see through, he wouldn't know how many times he would have died. There were definitely a lot of people who had seen him with the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Moreover, this Sky Treasure Silk might be auctioned off on every airship. Once someone tried to buy this thing, they might end up falling into a trap. Taking out this Sky Treasure Silk might be to target the cultivators with the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. This junior does not dare to hide it from Senior. That is indeed the reason. Ning Cheng calmed down his beating heart. Why don't you have a celestial wheel? The beautiful woman still asked in a calm tone. Only when Ning Cheng's face turned pale did the beautiful woman's spiritual consciousness move away from him. Ning Cheng looked at the beautiful woman in front of him in a daze, as if he couldn't understand what the other party meant. Only he knew in his heart that he was pretending to be at a loss. At this moment he felt a little anxious in his heart. No wonder this woman called him up. She thought that he was lying to her. Ning Cheng felt pleasantly surprised and immediately turned around to go inside. However, he only paused for a moment before stopping his movement and continuing down to the second floor. Ning Cheng and Shen Xuanyu sat in a corner of the cabin. Although Shen Xuanyu admired Ning Cheng, he did not dare to make a sound at this time. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell on his ring and completely removed the restrictions he had placed on the ring. Senior, please ask. This junior will tell you everything I know. Ning Cheng felt even more anxious. After the beautiful woman finished speaking, she stared at Ning Cheng without blinking. Ning Cheng spoke up in fear. This junior has always been a rogue cultivator. Because of my mediocre qualifications, I did not manage to cultivate a celestial wheel after advancing to the celestial novice realm. This junior knew that there was something wrong with the cultivation method I cultivated. Because I could not find a good master, this junior took out all of my savings and prepared to go to the grand culmination starry skies to try my luck. The spiritual consciousness quickly fell on Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng immediately felt his clothes being stripped off layer by layer. At this moment, he had almost no privacy. Fortunately, this woman still had some sense of shame and did not do anything excessive. Chapter 565. Ning Cheng squeezed into the crowd of cultivators and looked out from the deck. Outside the void ship, a vast and boundless blue starry sky appeared in front of him. Under this azure starry sky, there was a vague barrier that prevented his divine sense from penetrating it at all. This was a celestial grand array that protected the planet. However, this celestial grand array was much more powerful compared to the striking order Starland. This vast blue starland was not something that the striking order Starland could compare to. The 11 void ships from the striking order starry skies slowly approached this blue starland, and several cultivators flew down from the ships and landed outside the celestial grand array. Ning Cheng could see from afar that these cultivators had a discussion with the people in charge of the celestial grand array. Only then did the celestial grand array slowly open an entrance, allowing these void ships to enter the celestial grand array. Looking at this, Ning Cheng remained silent. If he offended a big shot in this place, as long as they sealed off the celestial grand array, he would not be able to leave. This place was much stricter than the striking order Starland. After the 11 ships from the striking order starry skies passed through the celestial grand array, they slowly stopped on the huge starry skies public square on the periphery of the planet. Ning Cheng looked around and found that this public square was boundless. Not to mention his eyes, even his spiritual consciousness could not sweep to the end. The fleet from the striking order starry skies was not small, and each of them was a giant. However, in this public square, these ships were too inconspicuous. Ning Cheng was still observing the surroundings when the broadcast on the merchant ship rang out. Friends, we have arrived at the Grand Culmination Starland's largest starland, Culmination Starland. So far, our merchant ship has concluded its transaction with the Friends. You can now go through the formalities to enter the Culmination Starland. Our merchant ship will return to the striking order Starland in 10 years. We also welcome Friends to continue riding our merchant ship. I wish Friends good luck. Countless cultivators swarmed out of the merchant ship, and in just a moment, more than 1 million people came out. However, even with these people standing on the vast starry skies public square, it did not feel crowded at all. As the crowd dispersed, the place looked even more empty. Ning Cheng did not dare to sweep around with his spiritual consciousness. His gaze swept around but did not see Shen Qinyu. However, Ning Cheng also knew that Shen Qinyu was proficient in disguise. Even if she stood in front of him, if she did not speak, he would find it difficult to recognize her. Although he did not see Shen Qinyu, he saw Zhishjun. Zhishjun was also looking around. When Ning Cheng saw him, he immediately showed a smile and walked towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng quickly lowered his head, while his heart also sank slightly. Looking at Zhishjun's appearance, it was obvious that he recognized him. But how did the other party recognize him? Brother Ning. Zhishjun walked directly to Ning Cheng's side and called out in a low voice. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart, cupped his fists and spoke, "Many thanks, Brother Ziju." Since Zhishjun came here and addressed him as Brother Ning, it meant that he had truly recognized him. Although he didn't know how Zhishjun recognized him, he didn't need to continue pretending. He was grateful to Zhishjun because Zhishjun recognized him, so he definitely knew that he was the one who stole the materials. However, no one came looking for him, which meant that Zhishjun didn't expose him, so it was only right for him to thank him. Brother Ning truly has some skills. I was worried that Brother Ning would go and purchase the Sky Treasure Silk, but it looks like I was overthinking it. Zhishjun obviously knew why Ning Cheng wanted to thank him. Many thanks, Brother Ziju. I have too many enemies here, so I won't speak much with Brother Ziju. My original name is Ning Cheng, not Ning Ruocheng. Ning Cheng knew that this was not the place to talk. Okay, after we reach Culmination Starland, let's keep in touch. This is my communication pearl. Zishjun said as he took out a communication pearl and handed it to Ningcheng. After exchanging communication pearls with Zishjun, Ningcheng asked with some doubts, "Brother Ziju, I was dressed as a starry skies wanderer. How did you recognize me?" Zishjun smiled. "Let's talk about this in the future. I'll be leaving first." After saying that, Zishjun quickly entered the crowd and disappeared from Ningcheng's sight. Ningcheng looked at Zishjun's disappearing back and remained silent. Zishjun's appearance was also very strange. Ningcheng had not noticed him even though he was right next to him. This person's concealment cultivation method was just too powerful. This was the first time Ningcheng had seen such a powerful concealment cultivation method, and the ability to track other people's aura. Tracking other people's aura, Ningcheng felt shocked as he thought of this. He suddenly thought that if Zishjun tracked him, wouldn't he not be able to escape? Did this guy know that he had killed Lu Pingchuan? After a long time, Ningcheng shook his head and put these annoying things aside. He then followed the crowd into the hall where the jade cards were processed. This hall was used to process the Identity Jade card to enter Culmination Starland. Although it was called the Identity Jade card, it was more like paying money to buy a spot to enter. Even if this was Culmination Starland, no one would check 3 generations of your ancestors and just give you a jade card to prove your identity. No one would record your aura or anything else. Although there were many cultivators processing the Identity Jade cards, this hall was ridiculously large and did not feel crowded at all. Ningcheng quickly spent 100 million green coins to obtain an Identity Jade card to enter Culmination Starland. He did not stay in this Starry Skies public square. After processing the Identity Jade card, he immediately walked out of the hall. Once he reached Culmination Starland, the most important thing for Ningcheng was to improve his cultivation, and then earn a crazy amount of celestial coins. One day, he would be able to purchase a top-grade Starry Skies battleship capable of traversing through the void interface. 2 female cultivators walked in front of Ningcheng, and Ningcheng casually glanced at them. When Ningcheng's gaze fell on one of the female cultivators, he almost screamed out loud. This female cultivator's slim back and a familiar aura almost made Ningcheng call out the 2 words Qionghua. However, this female cultivator already had a celestial novice cultivation, and from her back, she looked like a young girl. Wait. Ningcheng had just called out when he remembered that he still looked like a white-haired old man. Ningcheng no longer cared about anything else. He took out a drop of glimmers of Dawn Ice essence and swallowed it before chasing after them. When the glimmers of Dawn Ice essence entered Ningcheng's mouth, it felt like the most exuberant source of life. It instantly spread throughout Ningcheng's body, causing Ningcheng's white hair to turn black, and his lifespan to rapidly recover. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng once again regained his youthful appearance. However, Ningcheng was not in the mood to lament about the heaven-defying effects of the glimmers of Dawn Ice essence. He rushed to the front of the 2 female cultivators and shouted, "2 senior apprentice sisters, please wait a moment." The 2 female cultivators stopped and looked at Ningcheng in doubt. Seeing the 2 veiled female cultivators in front of him, Ningcheng's heart sank to the bottom. He felt sure that the female cultivator on the right was Qionghua, that temperament, eyes, figure, and even everything else. However, Ningcheng could also see that this female cultivator was not too old. She looked just like a high school girl. But what made Ningcheng even more worried was that the young girl in front of him just looked at him quietly without any fluctuations. If it were his Qionghua, wouldn't she have already rushed over? "This senior apprentice brother, who are you looking for?" The slightly older female cultivator spoke up. Ningcheng did not know what to say. Seeing the female cultivator frown, he quickly spoke up. "I want to ask the names of the 2 senior apprentice sisters." The female cultivator gave a cold snort and ignored Ningcheng. Suddenly, she brought out a celestial river-class battleship and spoke to the young girl in front of Shi Qionghua. "Let's go." Ningcheng watched as the celestial river-class battleship rushed out of the public square and entered the Culmination Starland. Only then did he remember that he should chase after them. To Ningcheng's disappointment, although his knockoff battleship also rushed out of the public square, he could no longer see the battleship of the 2 female cultivators. Why did this happen? Ning Cheng stood there in a daze as his battleship rushed towards the culmination starland, forgetting to control it. He had snatched back the 5 Elements Treasure Fall copper coin from the Yu clan. This 5 Elements Treasure Fall copper coin was something he had given to Shi Qianghua. With Shi Qianghua's love for him, as long as she still had a breath left in her, she would never abandon the things he had given her. Since the Yu clan snatched the 5 Elements Treasure Fall copper coin, Qianghua had undoubtedly fallen. Ning Cheng had long since prepared himself to find Qianghua's life essence, even if he had to ascend to the heavens or dive into the earth. But why did he see Qianghua today? Moreover, why did she turn into a young girl? I am a reincarnated body, and my life essence is innately powerful. Shi Qianghua's words once again lingered in Ning Cheng's ears. Reincarnation? Ning Cheng understood what was going on in an instant. Qianghua had once again reincarnated, but this time she appeared in the starry skies. Qianghua's first life must have been that of a great person. Otherwise, she would not have reincarnated several times. Heavens, thank you. Ning Cheng knelt on the battleship for the first time, thanking the heavens for letting him see his Qianghua once again. Qianghua was in the culmination starland, and he believed that he could definitely find her. Bang! The battleship gave out a loud roar, causing Ning Cheng to suddenly wake up. He was still inside the battleship. However, the next moment, he realized that his knockoff battleship had been hit, and the rear had caught on fire. Ning Cheng did not even think about it, and rushed out of the battleship. This battleship was his spoils of war. Moreover, it was a knockoff. As such, he did not feel too distressed about it. What he really cared about was the sifting orchid. However, the grade of the sifting orchid was too low. As such, he could not repair it for now. Boom! Ning Cheng had just come out of the battleship when his knockoff battleship exploded and turned into a ball of flames. Humph! A cold snort immediately sobered Ning Cheng up. Not far from him was a beautiful silver-white battleship. Ning Cheng was no longer a rookie. As such, when he saw this battleship, he immediately realized that it was a genuine Starry Skies battleship. This battleship must have deliberately crashed into his battleship a moment ago. However, at this moment, Ning Cheng's heart felt as if it would explode with joy. As such, he did not have the time to care about such things. He did not even bother to bring out his flying sword, and wanted to fly directly towards the culmination starland. You stop! A crisp voice called out to Ning Cheng. At the same time, a deck extended out from the Starry Skies battleship, revealing a few more people. Chapter 566. 3 cultivators stood on the deck, 2 men and 1 woman. The female cultivator in the middle had a full circle celestial gatherer cultivation, and wore a light blue robe. However, the 2 male cultivators standing next to the female cultivator were at least in the undead realm. Senior apprentice sister, what advice do you have for me? Ning Cheng stopped and spoke with cupped fists. He could clearly see that this female cultivator had the lowest cultivation, yet she was the one who spoke. The female cultivator looked at Ning Cheng from top to bottom and sneered. You do have some self-awareness and know that I want to give you advice. Did you know that your battleship had just crashed into my battleship? Ning Cheng knew that he had lost control of his battleship. Moreover, the other party had deliberately crashed into his battleship and caused it to explode. It was just that he was in the wrong and didn't care about the battleship, so he didn't want to cause trouble. He didn't expect that the other party would still look for him when his battleship was gone. I'm very sorry about what happened just now. I was lost in thought and ended up losing control of my battleship. Although my battleship was damaged, it did not cause any damage to Senior Apprentice Sister's battleship. The meaning behind Ning Cheng's words was clear. He was in the wrong a moment ago, but his battleship had shattered while the other party's battleship remained intact. So I'm the one being unreasonable. Even after smashing your battleship, wouldn't I be looking for trouble with you? As the female cultivator spoke, she flew out of the battleship and stood in front of Ning Cheng. I wouldn't dare. Ning Cheng had just arrived here, and didn't want to offend anyone. What's more, he was in a hurry to find Shi Qianghua. The female cultivator looked at Ning Cheng and spoke with pride. I can tell at a glance that you're a poor ghost from another starry sky. I'll give you two choices. One is to apologize to me. The second one. Senior apprentice sister, I already apologized. If senior apprentice sister feels dissatisfied, I would like to apologize again. I really didn't pay attention to what happened just now. It's my fault. Ningcheng spoke with a calm tone. The female cultivator giggled. You call this an apology? If you want to apologize, you should at least bow to the ground. How can a casual apology like yours be called an apology? Ningcheng remained silent. He could apologize, but to make him bow to a female cultivator he had just met for the first time, he could forget about it. Seeing Ningcheng remain silent, the female cultivator's face immediately turned cold. If you don't want to apologize, then take out 1,000,000 celestial coins. However, with your appearance, wanting to take out 1,000,000 celestial coins would be a bit difficult. Ningcheng knew that celestial coins were a variety of starry sky coins. Star coins were the green coins. The most valuable star coins were the green coins. He had no other choice but to bear with them. Two cultivators in the undead realm were staring at him. What could he do? Moreover, this female cultivator seemed to have an extraordinary background. Ning's look he could tell that he this. And this green coins. In him. Just when Ningcheng did not know what she meant by this, the imposing manner of this female cultivator suddenly turned sharp. Are you trying to send off a beggar with 1,000,000 green coins? This fairy said 1,000,000 purple coins, not 100,000,000 green coins, bah. Ningcheng did not wait for this female cultivator to speak a second sentence. Before taking out a 100,000,000 green coin card and placing it in the hands of this female cultivator, without saying a single word, he turned around and disappeared in a flash. The female cultivator looked at the 100,000,000 green coins in her hand and frowned as she muttered to herself. I didn't expect that a celestial novice cultivator without a celestial wheel could really take out 100,000,000 green coins. Moreover, he is willing to take out 100,000,000 green coins rather than bow. Interesting. Whether it was interesting or not, Ningcheng had already taken out 100,000,000 green coins as per her request. As such, she would not continue to look for trouble with him. An hour later, a huge blue-green starland appeared in front of Ningcheng. Ningcheng sped up and followed the many flight-type magical weapons to land on a huge open space. When Ningcheng landed on the ground and saw the huge city in the distance, he was completely shocked. Rather than calling it a city, it would be better to call it a starry sky city without city walls. The city in the distance was shrouded in a dreamlike blur. As a grade 3 celestial array master, Ningcheng could tell at a glance that this was a grand array protecting the city. Ningcheng had long since thought about it. Instead of refining some city walls, it would be better to use a top-grade grand array to replace it. But today he finally got to see such a top-grade grand array city. Over the city shrouded by a boundless grand array, a few huge characters hovered in the air. Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. Majestic, magnificent, magnificent. All the feelings were reflected in these few characters at a glance. Ningcheng looked at these few characters and secretly praised in his heart. This was the real Starry Sky City. The powerful forbidden space restriction and the majestic aura of this Starry Sky City forced all the cultivators to put away their flight-type magical weapons and enter the Starry Sky City on foot. Ningcheng followed the many cultivators towards the city gate of the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. In this place, not to mention that his spiritual consciousness could not sweep out, even if it could, Ningcheng would not dare to casually sweep out. The closer he got to the city gate, the more Ningcheng could feel the rich starry sky essence qi. An unexplainable sense of respect welled up in his heart, causing Ningcheng to feel slightly shocked. He guessed that it was due to the powerful array formation and the aura of the Starry Sky City's ruler. The Starry Sky City did not have any city walls, nor did it have a single cultivator guarding it. However, when Ningcheng walked into the Starry Sky City, he felt as if countless eyes were staring at him, causing him to not dare to look around. It was not until he entered the city, and the feeling disappeared, that Ningcheng felt slightly relieved. The Starry Sky City was similar to what he had imagined, but the scene was much bigger than what he had imagined. Spiritual consciousness shielding restrictions covered every corner of the city. preventing his spiritual consciousness from sweeping out further. However, he had an invisible premonition that this starry sky city was incomparably vast. With his current cultivation, finding Shi Qianghua in this starry sky city would be even more difficult than finding a needle in a haystack. Ningqing gave out a sigh. If one day, his spiritual consciousness could cultivate to the point where it could directly pass through these spiritual consciousness shielding restrictions, he would not hesitate to sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. As Ningqing thought of this, he stopped in his tracks. Why couldn't his spiritual consciousness do the same? His starry sky sea of consciousness could ignore ordinary restrictions. Although the restrictions in this starry sky city were powerful, one day his spiritual consciousness would be able to sweep through them. Although these thoughts flashed through his mind, it left a seed in Ningqing's heart. Only by becoming stronger and stronger could he say what he wanted to say and do what he wanted to do. However, he was still too weak right now. His cultivation in this starry sky city was only at the bottom. However, Ningqing also knew that staying in this starry sky city, as long as he did not offend anyone, it would be 10,000 times safer than the outside world. Entering the main street that looked like a public square, Ningqing quickly blended into the crowd of cultivators. He carefully observed the surroundings, looking forward to seeing the girl wearing a veil again. While looking for the merchant house of artifacts, he wanted to see if there was a better spear artifact or a weapon. As he gained a deeper understanding of Sunset's twilight, his treasured thunder spear could no longer satisfy his spirit technique, while his nirvana spear was just a material. Elder brother Tsongwei had said that this material was not simple. Within the vast starry sky of the universe, there must be some powerful artifact crafting masters who could recognize it. Grand Culmination Starry Sky should be the most powerful starry sky center in this positional plane. Ningqing wondered if elder brother Tsongwei had come here before. Just as Ningqing was lost in his thoughts, a loud noise arrived. He looked up and saw a huge plaque, Transcending Tao Artifacts. It was a merchant house of artifacts. Ningqing was just about to look for a merchant house of artifacts when he saw one. He walked in without hesitation. Two cultivators were quarreling on the first floor of the merchant house. One of them was a red-faced cultivator with a fully integrated celestial wheel behind him. From the looks of it, he was a powerhouse in Heaven's Mandate realm. The cultivator arguing with him had a bronze face and a fully integrated celestial wheel behind him. Although it was not as obvious as the red-faced cultivator, it showed that he had not reached Heaven's Mandate realm. Many of the cultivators in the merchant house of artifacts gathered around to watch the show. The more the two cultivators quarreled, the more violent they became. At this time, the shop assistant standing next to the two quarreling cultivators stood up and spoke. "Two friends, if you want to quarrel, please go outside. Don't do it in our merchant house. Our merchant house pays particular attention to harmony and wealth. It is a reasonable place." The red-faced cultivator also seemed to know that he should not quarrel in this place. He cupped his fist towards the crowd and spoke. "Friends, I will speak about this matter. Everyone, please help me judge and see who is the one being unreasonable." Sure enough, after the surrounding cultivators heard these words, they all quieted down and wanted to know what was going on. The shop assistant, on seeing the red-faced cultivator no longer quarreled, did not continue to speak. The red-faced cultivator spoke up loudly. "Brother Wan Xian is also a friend of mine. I had borrowed a middle-grade Tao artifact from him, the Devil Cloud Net. However, I did not expect that I would underestimate the situation outside, and ended up damaging the Devil Cloud Net. I was ready to compensate him with celestial coins, but he did not want the celestial coins. The two of us came here to buy a middle-grade Tao artifact to compensate him. However, he insisted that I should compensate him with a high-grade Tao artifact." The surrounding people started to talk, apparently feeling that this bronze-faced cultivator was being unreasonable. Since he had damaged a middle-grade Tao artifact, then he should compensate for the middle-grade Tao artifact. The price difference between a high-grade Tao artifact and a middle-grade Tao artifact was not just a little bit. It was several times more expensive than a middle-grade Tao artifact. The bronze-faced cultivator called Wan Xian raised his hand to stop the red-faced cultivator's words and spoke to the surrounding people. "I lent him a middle-grade Tao artifact, the Devil Cloud Net. Originally, He wanted to use the rewards from this task as a reward. However, he did not expect that he would fail the task. Not only did he not obtain anything, but he even damaged my devil cloud net. My devil cloud net is something that I had to painstakingly collect and personally craft. The surrounding people burst into an uproar. Everyone thought that this cultivator called Wan Xian could actually craft a middle-grade Dao artifact. To be able to craft a middle-grade Dao artifact, it was absolutely amazing. Everyone, please do not misunderstand. I alone am not able to craft a middle-grade Dao artifact. Even if it was a low-grade Dao artifact, I would not be able to craft it. It was because of a chance encounter that I met a top-notch artifact crafting master. With his help and guidance, I barely managed to craft this artifact. Even if you want me to craft it again, I would not be able to craft it. After Wan Xian explained, he continued. Since he damaged my devil cloud net, I intend to add some celestial coins to buy a high-grade Dao artifact. What's wrong with that? Just when Ningqing thought that Wan Xian was too greedy, a sudden voice spoke up. This matter clearly shows that Wan Xian is in the right. What else is there to argue about? Chapter 567. The one who spoke was a fat-looking male cultivator. In Ningqing's opinion, this person was at least a Heaven's Mandate cultivator. The fat cultivator saw everyone looking at him, and spoke to the red-haired man with disdain. Do you know what kind of weapon is the best for a Starry Skies cultivator? I guess you don't know, and even if you knew, you probably wouldn't tell the truth. Let me tell you now, for a Starry Skies cultivator, the best weapon is not to ask others to refine it, nor to buy it, but to refine one's own weapon. Ningqing felt his heart move and stood to the side to listen. Ningqing's cultivation was low, and he was not a real artifact crafting master. As such, he did not understand this sentence very well. The fat cultivator saw that the people around him were paying attention to his words and raised his voice. The weapon you refine would be connected to your heart and soul, which would increase the power of the same weapon by 30%. Furthermore, a magic treasure that is truly connected to the soul will allow you to gain an invisible advantage when fighting against an opponent. Speaking until here, he looked at the red-haired man again. Wan Xian's weapon is not completely self-refined. The Devil Cloud Net is just an auxiliary weapon. If it were an offensive weapon, you would have to pay more. Now that he used a middle-grade Dao artifact to compensate you with a high-grade Dao artifact, it would not be too much for him to add some celestial coins. The fat cultivator's words were reasonable, but most of the cultivators present were not artifact crafting masters, so they did not think of this point. Now that the fat cultivator mentioned it, everyone understood that it was the truth. Ningqing also had some doubts about whether it was the right decision to find an artifact crafting master to help him refine a spear. What's more, his materials were heaven-defying. In case he met a black-hearted artifact crafting master, it would be the end for him. Seeing the red-faced cultivator's face turn green, the fat cultivator smiled and said, "It's just that many people are not artifact crafting masters. Moreover, the path of artifact crafting takes a long time and requires talent and countless resources. Everyone has no choice but to ask others to help refine artifacts or buy them directly. Think about it, if you have top-grade artifact crafting materials and your cultivation is not high, would you be willing to take out your own materials for others to refine? Because of this, the weapons refined by oneself are especially precious." The people around him stood in the fat cultivator's position, and Ningqing also felt that the fat cultivator's words made sense. Because of this trivial matter, he changed his mind. In the beginning, elder brother Song Wei had asked him to enter the starry skies to find a top-notch artifact crafting master to craft artifacts. That was because Song Wei's cultivation had reached a high level. As such, most artifact crafting masters would not dare to do anything to him. But he couldn't. His cultivation was too low. Song Wei could look for an artifact crafting master to help him craft an artifact. However, he had to craft an artifact himself. Slowly clenching his fists, Ningqing decided to cultivate on one side, while at the same time he was crafting an artifact, he would have to refine his own spear-type artifact. Seeing the plump cultivator walk out of the merchant house, Ningqing quickly followed. Before Ningqing could speak, the fat cultivator turned around and stared at Ningqing before speaking. "Little fellow, why are you following me?" Ningqing quickly cupped his fists and spoke. When this junior heard senior's words a moment ago, it was as if this junior was enlightened. Therefore, this junior wants to learn artifact forging because this junior's cultivation is low and his knowledge is limited. Senior has a unique understanding of blacksmithing, so I would like to ask for your guidance. The fat cultivator, on hearing Ningqing's words, couldn't help but stare at Ningqing with wide eyes. After a long while, he suddenly laughed and spoke. "After listening to my words, you want to learn crafting artifacts?" "Yes." Ningqing knew what the other party was thinking. He most likely thought of him as an idiot. After hearing someone else's words, he immediately wanted to learn crafting artifacts. If he was not an idiot, then what was he? Good, you have a promising future. It really wasn't easy for you to cultivate to the celestial novice realm. In the eternal heaven starry sky city, the most powerful artifact crafting master is Zhongli Baiqi. You can go find Zhongli Baiqi. Haha, there really is such a person. The fat cultivator laughed as he walked away. Was it Zhongli Baiqi or Zhongli Baiqi? While Ningqing was still puzzled, the fat cultivator had already disappeared. Ningqing had to return to the merchant house once again. This merchant house mainly sold artifacts, and the shop assistant here definitely knew who was the best at crafting artifacts. "Friend, do you want to learn crafting artifacts?" When the shop assistant heard Ningqing's question, his first reaction was that Ningqing wanted to find an artifact crafting master to help him craft artifacts. He felt that business had arrived and that he should introduce Ningqing to purchase artifacts. Ningqing quickly spoke up. "No, I just want to inquire about the most powerful artifact crafting master in our eternal heaven starry sky city." The shop assistant laughed. Everyone in the Grand Culmination Starry Sky knows that the most powerful artifact crafting master here is Zhongli Baiqi. Was it really this person? Ningqing felt surprised that the fat cultivator did not lie to him. This senior must have very few disciples, right? Ningqing carefully asked. Huh? The shop assistant laughed this time. This senior has the most disciples. Moreover, he does not reject anyone who wants to take him as an apprentice. As long as you bring a gift to take him as an apprentice, he will accept it. However, the apprentice gift is not light. It is a Starry Sky Grade 9 artifact crafting material. A mere Rank 9 artifact crafting material could allow one to worship the most powerful artifact crafting master here as an apprentice? Ningqing could not believe it. Since Senior Zhongli accepts disciples, doesn't that mean that Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City has many powerful artifact crafting masters? Ningqing subconsciously asked. The shop assistant in the merchant house had nothing to do at the moment. When he heard Ningqing's words, he held back a smile and spoke. He does have many disciples, but the most powerful disciple is an artifact crafting genius who studied under him for 70 years. This artifact crafting genius was able to craft low-grade Dao artifacts at the age of 30, and then followed Zhongli Baiqi to learn artifact crafting. 70 years later, this artifact crafting genius left his master. What's the current level of this disciple? Ningqing asked eagerly. The shop assistant gave another chuckle. This artifact crafting genius can only craft low-grade Dao artifacts. As for the other disciples, no matter how long they study under him, no matter what weapon they refine, they can only refine the same weapon when they come out. Ah, Ningqing looked at the shop assistant and spoke. Is this Zhongli Baiqi a liar? This time, the shop assistant spoke up with a straight face. No, he specializes in crafting artifacts for powerhouses in the heaven-seated realm and above. No one has ever said that the weapons he refined were not good. Where does Senior Zhongli live? He lives in the most prosperous celestial immortal street in Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. Ningqing hurriedly walked out of the merchant house. He wanted to see this Zhongli Baiqi. Why did no disciple of such a powerful artifact crafting master succeed? Moreover, Ningqing could also take out rank 9 artifact crafting materials. Most likely, this Zhongli Baiqi did not teach any disciples after receiving the apprentice gift. Ningqing had just walked out of the merchant house when he received a message from his communication pearl. The message came from Zishjun. Zishjun had asked him to meet at the Speed Celestial rest stop on Celestial Immortal Street. Even if Ningqing did not go to Celestial Immortal Street, Zishjun had asked him to meet him. This fellow was just too mysterious, and he even knew some of his routes. Celestial Immortal Street was not only spacious but also luxurious. That's right, it was indeed a luxurious street. The entire street was paved with starry sky crystals, which exuded a rich starry sky essence chi. Moreover, because of the continuous supply of starry sky essence chi from celestial essence spiritual veins, the essence chi here would never dry up. The first thing Ningqing saw when he arrived was not the Speed Celestial rest stop, but Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting store. This artifact crafting store looked luxurious and had a magnificent entrance. From time to time, some cultivators would come in and out. Brother Ning. Zishjun's voice arrived. Ningqing shook his head silently. No matter how he changed his appearance, he could even hide from heaven-seated powerhouses. However, he could not hide from this Zishjun brother Zish. Ningqing's gaze swept to a small, inconspicuous pavilion not far away. The words Speed Celestial Rest Stop were written above the pavilion. Brother Ning, please come in. Zishjun enthusiastically ushered Ningqing into a smaller booth and placed a restriction over it. Ningqing cupped his fists and spoke. Brother Zish truly has some skills. No matter how I change my appearance, I can't hide it from you. If anyone had an enemy like Brother Zish, they would never be able to eat or sleep in peace. Zishjun laughed. Brother Ning, it's someone else. Brother Ning and I hit it off the moment we met. We are not enemies but friends. When Brother Ning battled against Lu Pingchuan with a celestial novice cultivation on the Dao discussion stage, I realized that Brother Ning was not an ordinary person. Ningqing showed a bitter smile and spoke. You really do know that I killed Lu Pingchuan. I think that when I killed Lu Pingchuan, you should have been watching from the side, right? Zishjun showed a slight smile but did not answer. Apparently, he acquiesced to this matter. I don't know why Brother Zish came looking for me this time. Ningqing did not mention anything about the rootless green bamboo. Since Zishjun saw it from the side, then Zishjun definitely knew that he had obtained the rootless green bamboo. Until now, he still did not know about the uses of the rootless green bamboo. At least, he had to find out about the uses of the rootless green bamboo before admitting to it. Zishjun also did not mention the rootless green bamboo. After pouring a cup of tea for Ningqing, he spoke up with a smile. Brother Ning came here this time, presumably to enter the Immortal Jade Star. Immortal Jade Star? Ningqing looked at Zishjun in doubt. This was the first time he had heard of this name. He really did not come here to enter the Immortal Jade Star, but to improve his cultivation and then obtain a top-grade flight-type weapon to return to the place he wanted to go. Did you not come here to participate in the Starry Sky Finals? Zishjun also felt puzzled. He had always thought that Ningqing was the same as him, working hard to participate in the Starry Sky Finals of the Celestial Scryer Geniuses. Ningqing gave out a sigh and spoke. Even if I wanted to participate, I don't have a spot. I heard that the Striking Order Starry Skies only has 10 spots. No matter how it is distributed, it would never reach my head. Zishjun shook his head and spoke. Because of Lu Pingchuan's death, the Striking Order Starry Skies has one more spot. If you want it, you can still get it. However, there are still 100 spots in the finals that will be auctioned off in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. With your net worth, if you want to go, you can still buy one. Ningqing remained silent. He understood the meaning behind Zishjun's words. Since he had obtained so many things, he should be able to exchange them for a spot. However, Ningqing did not want to participate in the finals. No matter how many rewards there were, he would never get what he wanted. Chapter 568. Do you know why the finals were held on the Immortal Jade Star? Seeing Ningqing remaining silent, Zishjun took the initiative to speak up. Ningqing cupped his fists and spoke. I will have to ask Brother Ziju about this. Because the Immortal Jade Star suddenly appeared, some people say that it came from another positional plane, while some people think that the Immortal Jade Star was wrapped in a natural grand array. Due to the wear and tear of the starry sky, The natural grand array broke, which suddenly exposed it. Ningqing interrupted Zish Jun's words. Isn't it similar to the drifting starland we encountered on the way? It's just a star continent. Zish Jun gave a laugh and spoke. Brother Ning, if not for your fearsome moves, I would have really thought that you were a rookie. The star continent we encountered along the way is a broken planet, and its laws are also broken. Moreover, someone has been there before. How can it be compared to a complete planet with complete laws that no one has entered for countless years? Ningqing gave an awkward smile. He really did not understand. This time, the 4 grand starry skies joined forces to seal off the immortal Jade Star, and even held the Celestial Scryer Genius Finals. Ningqing once again interrupted Zish Jun's words. Brother Zish, what did you say about the 4 grand starry skies finals? Doesn't Grand Culmination Starry Sky control this part of the starry sky? Zish Jun stared at Ningqing for a long while before giving out a sigh and speaking. It looks like Brother Ning doesn't know anything about the starry skies of the universe. Ningqing spoke with some embarrassment. I only know that there are 4 grand starry skies. As for the others, I really don't know much about them. Zish Jun confirmed that Ningqing truly did not know about it, before he carefully explained. Elder Brother Ning, in the vast universe of this plane, there are countless starry skies. Grand Culmination Starry Sky was indeed the center of the entire universe. That was because in the early days, Grand Culmination Starry Sky was the most powerful place in the universe. But now things have changed. The 4 grand starry skies referred to the 2 heavens and 2 domains. In addition to the Grand Culmination Starry Sky, there was also the Grand Spirit Heaven Starry Sky, the Grand Demon Domain Starry Sky, and the Grand Devil Domain Starry Sky. Each of the 4 grand starry skies consisted of many smaller starry skies. This time, the immortal Jade Star was discovered by everyone. As such, the Grand Culmination Starry Skies naturally could not monopolize it. Therefore, they decided to hold a genius selection competition to select the ones to enter. Therefore, this time, in addition to the people from the Grand Culmination Starry Skies, there are also many talented cultivators from the other 3 grand starry skies going to the immortal Jade Star. Many thanks for Brother Zish's explanation. I know too little about this starry sky. Ningqing spoke with a grateful tone. If Zish Jun hadn't explained these things, he wouldn't have been able to understand them. At this point, how could Zish Jun not understand that Ningqing's understanding of this starry sky was that of a novice? He motioned to Ningqing not to be polite and continued. Brother Ning does not care much about the immortal Jade Star. Therefore, I guess that Brother Ning does not know anything about the immortal Jade Star, right? I was just about to ask Brother Ziju. Ningqing also felt a little interested. If the 4 grand starry skies sealed off the immortal Jade Star, then it definitely would not be something simple. Zish Jun's expression turned a lot more serious as he whispered. I do not want to talk about the immortal Jade Star's natural treasures. This star has been covered in dust for countless years. As such, it definitely contains many treasures. According to the information I obtained, there are 3 top-grade treasures in the immortal Jade Star. The first one is a kind of 5-element origin. As for what kind of origin it is, I do not know. Second, there is a supreme starry sky spirit tree called a Wind Thunder Apricot. What is a Wind Thunder Apricot? Ningqing asked in doubt. He had never heard of such a tree before. Zish Jun shook his head. I do not know about it, but since it can stand side by side with the 5-element origins, it must not be a simple item. What about the third treasure? Ningqing grew even more interested. The third treasure is something that everyone wants. I heard that it is a natural-born weapon called the Starry Sky Wheel. Zish Jun spoke with a slightly excited tone. What is the Starry Sky Wheel? At this time, Ningqing had already forgotten about looking for Zhongli Baiqi. Zish Jun spoke with a trace of yearning. The Starry Sky Wheel is a flight-type weapon. This kind of natural-born flight-type weapon, not to mention top-grade Dao artifacts, even spirit artifacts would not be comparable to it. Do you know about spirit artifacts? If we used a spirit artifact to travel from the Striking Order Starry Sky to the Grand Culmination Starry Sky, it would only take a few months at most, not so many years. A flight-type weapon that is even more powerful than a spirit artifact. Think about it, It is definitely not something that a top-grade Starry Sky battleship can compare to. Ning Cheng's heart started to beat wildly. What he lacked the most was a top-grade flight-type weapon. If he could obtain this Starry Sky wheel. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng felt his throat turn dry. Could he obtain such a treasure? Not to mention that he did not even have the qualifications to enter the immortal Jade Star. Ning Cheng swallowed a mouthful of saliva. These things are priceless treasures. Although everyone wants them, I know that these things have nothing to do with me. Not necessarily. I've seen Brother Ning's skills and speed with my own eyes. Moreover, these things are ownerless. As long as Brother Ning enters the immortal Jade Star, who knows what the final outcome would be? Zhishjun looked at Ning Cheng and spoke with a serious tone. Ning Cheng understood that Zhishjun must have some kind of request to explain these things to him. Zhishjun had also seen the excitement he felt when he heard about the Starry Sky Wheel. However, there was no other way. What he lacked the most right now was a top-grade flight-type weapon. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng tried to calm himself down and spoke in a slow voice. Brother Zish, you should not be looking for me to tell me this news, right? Zhishjun showed a faint smile. Brother Ning, if I said that I came here just to tell you this news, it would be too hypocritical of me. If Brother Ning wants to enter the immortal Jade Star, I have a way to help Brother Ning get a quota. I only want 3 bamboo leaves from the rootless green bamboo. If Brother Ning has an extra essence harmonizing celestial fruit, then please give me one. If not, then forget it. Zhishjun was a good person. Not only did he bring him to collect essence harmonizing celestial fruits, but he also helped him conceal his identity. Therefore, Ning Cheng did not feel that Zhishjun's request was too much. His rootless green bamboo had more than a dozen leaves. Even if there were only a few, Ning Cheng would not be stingy. Not waiting for Zhishjun to say it a second time, Ning Cheng took out the 3 leaves and put them in a jade box. He then took out 3 essence-harmonizing celestial fruits and handed them to Zhishjun. Seeing Ning Cheng take out the jade box without hesitation, Zhishjun's hands trembled with excitement. He opened the jade box that Ning Cheng handed to him, and saw the 3 leaves lying inside the jade box. He quickly closed the jade box and activated several restrictions before putting away the jade box. Many thanks, Brother Ning. Thank you, thank you. Zhishjun's voice trembled. Since the moment he saw Ning Cheng, he had maintained a calm and tranquil appearance. However, at this time he could not help but feel excited. He had always wanted these bamboo leaves, but never had the opportunity to obtain them. That is because he could not come up with anything of similar value to give to Ning Cheng. If he wanted these things just to help conceal Ning Cheng's identity, then it would truly be a tasteless act. Ning Cheng showed a smile. Since Brother Zish helped me keep it a secret, these things are nothing. Brother Zish, please put these things away first. Zhishjun took in a deep breath and finally calmed down. He nodded to Ning Cheng and put away the 3 essence-harmonizing celestial fruits. Seeing Zhishjun put away the things, Ning Cheng asked, Brother Zish, although I obtained this bamboo, I do not know the main use of this thing. I hope that Brother Zish can enlighten me. Zhishjun had already experienced Ning Cheng's ignorance and explained in detail. There are many treasures within the starry skies that can help to reshape the corporeal body. Although they are precious, they can still be found. However, there are very few treasures within the starry skies that can help to reshape the life essence. In fact, it is extremely difficult to find them. However, the rootless green bamboo is one of them. For ordinary cultivators, if their life essence is incomplete, it would be difficult for them to advance to a higher level. However, the rootless green bamboo can help cultivators with incomplete life essence to reshape their life essence, making their life essence complete. Not only that, even if one's soul disperses, as long as you can find a trace of their life essence, you can use the rootless green bamboo to reshape it. So powerful? Ning Cheng secretly marveled in his heart. The rootless green bamboo turned out to be a treasure that could reshape one's life essence. Zhishjun added, That's not all. The rootless green bamboo has a more important role, which is to reshape an avatar. After a powerhouse obtains the rootless green bamboo, they can split off a trace of their life essence and use the complete rootless green bamboo to reshape an avatar. This complete version refers to the fact that the main body of the rootless green bamboo has not been touched, and has at least 7 bamboo leaves. If a cultivator splits their life essence into many parts, wouldn't it be able to create many avatars? Ning Cheng had no interest in creating avatars, nor did he like creating avatars. However, according to Zishjun, the rootless green bamboo seemed to be able to create many avatars. Zishjun immediately replied, "That's impossible. Within the same starry skies, the laws of heaven and earth absolutely do not allow such a thing to happen. Even if a cultivator could do it, their life essence would be turned to ashes by the thunder tribulation. Besides, what I said about creating an avatar is that one must use a complete rootless green bamboo to create one's own avatar." Many thanks, Brother Zish. I benefited a lot from Brother Zish's words today. Ning Cheng sincerely thanked him with cupped fists. Zishjun stood up and spoke. "Brother Ning, I have something to take care of now. After I help you get this identity, I will immediately tell you about it." "Wait." Ning Cheng called out to Zishjun and stretched out his hand to draw a portrait of a female cultivator in the void. "Who is this?" Zishjun looked at this young girl with a veil covering her face and asked in doubt. Ning Cheng spoke to Zishjun in a very serious tone. "Brother Zish, I saw this female cultivator not long ago, and it was love at first sight. I have always wanted to find her again, but unfortunately, I am not familiar with this place, nor do I have any acquaintances. Therefore, I would like to ask Brother Zish to help me keep an eye out for her. Once you find her, please let me know immediately." Zishjun laughed and patted Ning Cheng's shoulder. "No problem. I will take my leave first. Brother Ning, please wait for my news." Watching Zishjun leave, the rest stop. Ning Cheng's heart was not longing for the jade card to enter the immortal jade star, but news of Shi Qianghua. Chapter 569. Ning Cheng stood outside Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting store. He really could not understand why an artifact crafting store would have such a name. "Senior, may I ask what kind of magic treasure you want to forge? You can just record it here." Ning Cheng had just walked into Zhongli Baiqi artifact crafting store, and had not even had the time to look around the interior of the store, when a soft and pleasant voice rang out in his ears. The one who spoke was a very pretty female cultivator. She stood behind a counter that was half the height of a person, with her hands crossed in front of her chest, while looking at Ning Cheng with a smile in her eyes. Ning Cheng was stunned for a moment. This kind of professional smile, he almost thought that he had returned to Earth. This female cultivator also looked like a celestial gatherer cultivator, yet she still addressed him as senior. A cultivator without a celestial wheel. "Oh, I came here to look for Senior Zhongli. I want to learn crafting artifacts from Senior Zhongli." Ning Cheng did not know if it was really that simple to become an apprentice in this place. When the pretty-looking female cultivator heard that Ning Cheng wanted to take her as his master, the smile on her face grew even brighter. "Taking me as your master is naturally not a problem. You just need to tell me your name, and then hand over a Starry Sky Grade 9 artifact crafting material. Then you can become my master's disciple." Ning Cheng looked at this female cultivator in doubt. "Don't I need to see Senior Zhongli?" The female cultivator showed a faint smile. "Of course I have to see you. However, I can only tell you about the rules after you formally acknowledge me as your master. There aren't many rules in our Baiqi artifact crafting store, but we have to abide by them." Ning Cheng looked at the pavilion, and found that the entrance to the second floor was blocked by a restriction. However, the area of the first floor was not small, but it also had luxurious decorations. A few magic treasures that were at least high-grade Dao artifacts were fixed in place by the crystal array formation. They were placed on the display cabinets, looking very conspicuous. In addition, there was a row of seats for guests to rest. "Are you also Senior Zhongli's disciple? Are there a lot of disciples here?" Ning Cheng asked as he looked around. Although he had made a small fortune on the floating starland, and had a dozen or so Starry Sky Grade 9 artifact crafting raw materials on him, he didn't have enough raw materials. The delicate-looking female cultivator immediately revealed a look of respect. "Of course I'm Senior Zhongli's disciple. There are many people who come here to take me as their master, but there aren't many who understand Tools Dao. Master is kind-hearted and always wants to pass on his legacy. At this moment, another cultivator came in. This cultivator's eyes only glanced at Ningqing slightly, but Ningqing immediately felt a little suppressed. This person definitely was a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. This cultivator didn't care about a low-leveled cultivator like Ningqing. He just glanced at Ningqing before taking out a dozen materials and placing them in front of the pretty-looking female cultivator. I want to craft a high-grade defensive Dao artifact. A shield-shaped one would do. The pretty-looking female cultivator calmly put away the materials and said, "Senior can come and get it tomorrow." After the cultivator heard this, he turned around and left, not leaving any evidence behind. After the cultivator left, Ningqing asked, "Is it because the price for crafting high-grade Dao artifacts is fixed, so this senior did not say the price?" The female cultivator showed a faint smile towards Ningqing and spoke, "This place does not accept celestial coins for crafting artifacts, but only double the materials. Double the materials might not be the same, but it must be double." Ningqing secretly felt surprised. If it were an ordinary weapon, then it would have been fine. However, refining a high-grade Dao artifact would require twice the amount of materials. "Senior martial brother, have you decided to take me as your master? If not, you can come back tomorrow." The female cultivator didn't seem to want to talk to Ningqing anymore. Ningqing hesitated for a long time before pretending to feel some pain. He took out a fist-sized material and placed it in front of the female cultivator. "My name is Wanderer, and this is my apprenticeship gift. Extreme Fire Silkworm Gold?" The female cultivator reached out and grabbed the material Ningqing handed over and spoke out in surprise. As for Ningqing's name, she didn't seem to care about it at all. "Good stuff." The female cultivator grabbed the red material and looked at it for a while before saying those 3 words before putting it away. "I haven't asked Senior Martial Sister's surname." Ningqing saw the female cultivator put away the Extreme Fire Silkworm Gold and quickly asked. In fact, what he wanted to ask was not the surname of this female cultivator, but when he could meet Zhongli Baiqi. The female cultivator looked at Ningqing with a smile and spoke. "You don't have to call me Senior Martial Sister. I'm the youngest among all the disciples here. Just call me Junior Martial Sister Yan. Don't worry, just sit here and wait. Every disciple, this master will do his best to teach them." Ningqing felt slightly relieved. He did not know why Zhongli Baiqi's other disciples could not learn his artifact crafting methods. In his opinion, as long as the senior Zhongli taught them with all his heart, he did not believe that he would not be able to learn it. The most powerful ability of the mysterious yellow formless was learning. What's more, before he obtained the mysterious yellow bead, his greatest ability was learning. "Junior Martial Sister Yan, I don't know how Master teaches. I have never learned artifact crafting before, so I would like to consult Senior Martial Sister first." Ningqing politely asked from the side. This delicate and pretty female cultivator's face reverted to the professional smile she had when Ningqing came in, before she spoke up in a gentle tone. "The first time Master teaches is to let you watch him craft artifacts." Ningqing nodded. "That's for the best. I'm not familiar with artifact crafting, so I will first see how Master crafts artifacts, so that I can be prepared." "Junior Martial Sister Yan, after watching Master craft artifacts, will you start teaching from the basics?" Junior Martial Sister Yan still had a professional smile on her face as she spoke. "Whatever you want to learn in the future, it will have to depend on Senior Martial Brother." Junior Martial Sister Yan looked at Ningqing and shook her head. "No, it's to see what kind of artifact crafting materials Senior Martial Brother brings out in the future." Ningqing felt slightly startled and immediately asked, "Is it to ask questions that I don't understand, and then guide me in a targeted manner?" Junior Martial Sister Yan looked at Ningqing and shook her head. "No, it's to see what kind of artifact crafting materials Senior Martial Brother brings out, and then we can talk about the second time." No wonder this old fogey did not have a single good disciple for countless years. Who would have thought that there would be such a swindler? Only by handing over a Starry Sky Grade 9 artifact crafting material would one get a chance to watch Master craft artifacts. How many materials would he need to learn artifact crafting from this master? Zhongli Baiqi, Ningqing finally understood the meaning of this name. This was more than just eating for free, it was simply eating for free without any sense of shame. For a disciple who had never learned artifact crafting, it would be strange if he could learn how to craft a Dao artifact. Seeing Ningqing silently find a place to sit down, junior martial sister Yan felt a little strange. Many cultivators, after learning about this rule, would immediately kick up a fuss. However, making a fuss here, apart from being thrown out, would not bring them any benefits. They would even lose the chance to watch an artifact crafting. This disciple without a celestial wheel, yet he was able to keep his composure. By the way, what was his name? It seemed that he was called Wanderer, which sounded like a fake name. However, who cared if he had a name or not? Ningqing knew that it did not make any sense for him to make a fuss. Therefore, he chose to sit here quietly to watch Zhongli Baiqi craft artifacts before leaving, letting him continue to hand over starry sky materials and continue learning artifact crafting. He was not that stupid. One day passed by quickly, while Ningqing sat in the store without moving. Business here was quite good, with people bringing in materials from time to craft artifacts. Senior martial brother Wanderer, please follow me upstairs to watch master craft artifacts. Ningqing, who had been sitting for a day, finally heard junior martial sister Yan's invitation. Junior martial sister Yan activated the restriction over the artifact crafting store, and then led Ningqing to the second floor. As soon as Ningqing reached the second floor, he immediately felt a chill. He felt a little strange in his heart. It stood to reason that artifact crafting places were always hot, so why did this place feel so cold? Ningqing immediately came to know what was going on. An incomparably thin old man was in the middle of refining a sword artifact. An ice-cold flame surrounded the sword, and the surrounding temperature seemed to be sucked away by the sword. At the same time, the aura coming from the sword grew stronger and stronger. From the looks of it, it was at least a high-grade Dao artifact. As the old man made one mysterious gesture after another, array formations overlapped and intertwined within the ice-cold flame before finally merging into the sword. With a crisp sound, the sword in the old man's hand seemed to have gained a life of its own. It rushed out of the ice-cold flame and suspended above the old man's head. After the sword rushed out, the ice-cold flame also disappeared in an instant. Good sword. Junior martial sister Yin looked at the sword suspended above the old man's head and called out in surprise. Ningqing looked at the old man and secretly thought to himself, is this Zhongli Baiqi? Sure enough, he looks like a freeloader. A few sparse hairs rested on top of his head, while he sat there with his back hunched. Although his eyes looked down, Ningqing could still see that Zhongli Baiqi had two eyes, one big and one small. The old man also raised his head and glanced at Ningqing. Since you've learned it, then go down. Ningqing felt both shocked and angry. This old thing, he had just come up, yet he had already learned it. What was going on here? Junior martial sister Yen spoke to Ningqing with a smile. Senior apprentice brother, please follow me downstairs. Senior apprentice brother is always welcome to come and learn next time. Ningqing did not pay any attention to this junior apprentice sister Yen. He cupped his fists towards Zhongli Baiqi and spoke. Senior Baiqi, although I know that you cultivated a cheap hand, but by the time I came up, your cheap hand had already recovered. When I paid the tuition fee, I said that I would be able to watch you refine an artifact once. However, I have only seen 1/10 of it. Senior's reputation has spread far and wide across the grand culmination starry skies. So surely you wouldn't go back on your words, right? If Senior really wants to teach me because I saw you refining it, oh, it's just 1/10 of the refining process, then I would have nothing to say. Haha. Zhongli Baiqi on hearing Ningqing's words unexpectedly laughed. Since you think that you did not understand it, then I will refine another artifact. That 1/10 of the sword refining process can be considered as a gift to you. Many thanks, Senior. Ningqing cupped his fists. That 1/10 of the refining process belongs to Senior. I do not dare to ask you to give it to me as a gift. As long as Senior reaches 9/10 of the refining process, then you can stop. Humph, do you think this master only knows how to refine swords? As Zhongli Baiqi spoke, several materials flew out from his hands. Chapter 570. After Zhongli Baiqi took out the materials, Ningqing no longer spoke. He only had this one chance. Zhongli Baiqi suddenly brought out a faint golden flame, and Ningqing immediately felt the celestial river flame in his zifu jumping up and down. What a powerful flame! Ningqing did not know anything about this flame, but this flame was much more powerful than his celestial river flame. The moment the celestial river flame jumped, Zhongli Baiqi looked up at Ningqing, but he quickly focused his attention on the materials in his hands. Several materials suspended in the flame began to tremble before slowly dissolving. Some of the impurities directly turned to ash under the flames. Zhongli Baiqi's hands moved faster and faster. Ningqing's vision could not keep up with Zhongli Baiqi's rhythm. At this moment, Ningqing completely immersed himself in this rhythm. He subconsciously stretched out his spiritual consciousness and penetrated into the terrifying flame. When Ningqing's spiritual consciousness penetrated into the flame, Zhongli Baiqi felt a slight shock. He even looked up at Ningqing in disbelief. A mere celestial gatherer cultivator without a celestial wheel could actually penetrate his spiritual consciousness into his flame? At this moment, Ningqing completely forgot that he was watching someone else craft artifacts. His mind was filled with one scene after another, connected by a series of hand gestures. Although Zhongli Baiqi's hands moved faster and faster, the images in Ningqing's mind grew clearer and clearer. He saw the materials fusing layer by layer, then pulling them apart before fusing again. One after another, the shapes of weapons appeared in his consciousness, and he could clearly see the changes in every part of these weapons. At this moment, something seemed to open up in his consciousness. It was an ancient leather scroll with many vicissitudes of life on it. He then saw some irrelevant words on the leather scroll. Then he saw the words on the leather scroll fusing with Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting hand gestures, forming one scene after another. It was a saber artifact, and the saber artifact crafting hand gestures cut through the sky, directly splitting a huge mountain in half. Then this long saber turned into a square seal. And when this huge square seal fell down, it directly turned the two halves of the mountain into dust. Endless images flashed in front of Ningqing, seemingly to serve the last scene. The images were densely packed, and at this moment, Ningqing completely immersed himself in them. Song, a crisp sound rang out, causing Ningqing to sober up from his immersion. He felt shocked in his heart, not only because of Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting level, but also because he saw something familiar in Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting techniques. It was the leather scroll that he had on him. He had snatched this leather scroll from Kongcheng. After that, he looked at it a few times. Every time it was a dense image. Although he had comprehended some techniques from it, there wasn't anything particularly powerful. But today, when he saw Zhongli Baiqi crafting an artifact, he unexpectedly gained a kind of enlightenment. If they were not in this place, he would have taken out the leather scroll long ago. Seeing a long hook suspended in front of Zhongli Baiqi, Ningqing couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He felt as if he had just realized that Zhongli Baiqi's long hook had already been refined. However, he did not see the final scene of the long hook forming. Seeing Zhongli Baiqi staring at him, Ningqing cupped his fists and spoke. Many thanks to Senior Zhongli for allowing me to observe the artifact crafting process. This junior will take his leave now. Saying that, Ningqing immediately stood up, turned around and walked down the stairs. Junior apprentice Sister Yan, on seeing Ningqing walk away, quickly followed. This time, Ningqing's harvest was not small. As such, he was not in the mood to continue staying here. He wanted to go into seclusion and comprehend the Tao of artifacts. Zhongli Baiqi did not speak. He just looked at Ningqing's disappearing back and frowned in contemplation. Junior apprentice Sister Yan, many thanks. Goodbye. Ningqing walked to the entrance of the artifact crafting store before turning around and politely saying a few words. Junior apprentice Sister Yan was just about to speak when she suddenly trembled slightly and spoke up. Senior apprentice Brother Wanderer, please wait a moment. After saying that, she quickly returned to the store. A moment later, Junior apprentice Sister Yan handed a thick book to Ningqing and said, Senior apprentice brother, this is a book on the basics of crafting artifacts. Master asked me to give it to you. Was there such a thing in this era? Why not a jade strip? Ning Cheng took the book and thanked her before asking, "Junior apprentice Sister Yan, does every disciple who accepts a master have such a book?" Junior apprentice Sister Yan showed a faint smile, but did not answer Ning Cheng's question. Instead, she just said goodbye before activating the restriction on the door. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the book in his hand, and was surprised to find that his spiritual consciousness could not penetrate the book at all. As there were too many cultivators on the street, Ning Cheng did not continue to read it. After throwing the book into his ring, he quickly left the artifact crafting store. Celestial Rainbow Rest Stop. It was just a small rest stop in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. There were thousands of such rest stops in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. The reason why Ning Cheng chose this rest stop was that it was relatively remote and cheap. Learning artifact crafting was not something that could be done in a day or two. In a place like the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, celestial coins were not worth much. After rearranging a stack of array formations in his room, Ning Cheng first took out the book that Zhongli Baiqi had given him. Opening the first page, Ning Cheng saw a variety of materials introduced in great detail. Not only did it contain the shape, aura, characteristics and so on, but it also contained its main functions. Good stuff. Ning Cheng felt pleasantly surprised. If this book contained an introduction to a variety of materials, he would have been willing to exchange a Starry Sky Grade 9 artifact crafting material for it. However, Ning Cheng quickly felt that something was wrong. He could not open the second page, nor could his spiritual consciousness penetrate the second page. Not to mention that his spiritual consciousness could not penetrate the second page. Even the contents of the first page could only be seen with his eyes. He could not use his spiritual consciousness to sweep through it. Was this a book that could only be read with the eyes and not with spiritual consciousness? Ning Cheng's powerful memory played a role at this time, and he quickly memorized the contents of the first page. Sure enough, after memorizing the contents of the first page, he could easily turn to the second page. A day passed by quickly, and with Ning Cheng turning a page every few seconds, he had no idea how many pages he had read and how many starry sky materials he had memorized. However, the thick book seemed to have only turned a few pages. 1 month, 2 months later, Ning Cheng still kept reading the book. His stubborn temper flared up, and he would not give up until he finished reading the book. The 3rd month passed by, and when Ning Cheng turned the last page, he knew very well that the value of this book was more than just 1 Starry Sky Grade 9 material. In fact, it might even be worth more than 10. How could this Zhongli Baiqi be so good? How could he give him such a good thing? Ning Cheng thought about it for a long time, but could not figure out what was going on. He simply did not bother to think about it, and took out the leather scroll. Just as he took out the leather scroll, all kinds of images once again filled Ning Cheng's mind and appeared in front of him. Previously, he had only seen Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting technique once. But at this time, Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting technique unexpectedly broke down in these images and became extremely clear. As Ning Cheng immersed himself in these images, the artifact crafting technique evolved from the leather scroll gradually blurred, and a new concept of artifact crafting Dao emerged in Ning Cheng's mind. The images in the leather scroll combined with these artifact crafting concepts, causing Ning Cheng to involuntarily take out the materials and start crafting. He brought out the celestial river flame, and the pile of materials transformed within the flame before easily transforming into low-grade true artifacts. From low-grade true artifacts to top-grade true artifacts, it felt like a natural evolution. When the true artifacts in Ning Cheng's hands transformed into top-grade true artifacts, he immediately threw them aside. As the higher-grade materials fell into his hands, he melted them down, transformed them, and then carved out array formations. As the materials in Ning Cheng's ring continued to decrease, more and more Dao artifacts appeared in front of him. Although all of them were low-grade Dao artifacts, the quality of each one was obviously better than the previous one. Ding dang! Ning Cheng threw another low-grade Dao artifact long spear to the ground. He grabbed his hair and muttered to himself, "Why can't I craft a middle-grade Dao artifact?" Because you do not have a Dao. If not for returning to one, you would never be able to craft a low-grade Dao artifact. A sudden voice appeared in Ning Cheng's ears. "Who is it?" Ningqing suddenly looked up and saw Zhongli Baiqi sitting across from him. He immediately stood up in shock. "Senior Zhongli, how did you come in?" Zhongli Baiqi showed a smile, one big and one small pair of eyes flashing. "Little fellow, if I wanted to harm you, I would have killed 100 of you." Ningqing sat down in disappointment. Although Zhongli Baiqi's words were not pleasant to hear, it was the truth. It would have been easy for the other party to kill him. "May I ask why Senior has come to this junior?" Ningqing spoke with some helplessness. "You have a good flame, good luck, and even better qualifications than I have ever seen. Unfortunately, you did not meet a famous teacher. What a waste, what a waste. You see, you have only just worshipped me as your master. Yet you can already craft low-grade Dao artifacts." Zhongli Baiqi spoke while shaking his head. Ningqing felt speechless in his heart. What did his ability to craft low-grade Dao artifacts have to do with this Zhongli Baiqi? It was because he saw Zhongli Baiqi crafting artifacts, which allowed him to comprehend his own leather scroll. After coming back, he managed to advance by leaps and bounds. Well, one cannot say that it had nothing to do with Zhongli Baiqi crafting artifacts. It was also because he saw Zhongli Baiqi crafting artifacts that he understood the leather scroll. "Where did you get this returning to one?" Zhongli Baiqi pointed to the leather scroll beside Ningqing and asked. Ningqing picked up the leather scroll and looked at Zhongli Baiqi in doubt. "Is this leather scroll called returning to one?" Zhongli Baiqi raised his hand, and the leather scroll in Ningqing's hand fell into his hand. "Yes, this is returning to one. All things returning to one." "Is this leather scroll the artifact crafting secrets of success?" Ningqing quickly asked. Zhongli Baiqi shook his head. "No, this is returning to one. Whether it is the artifact crafting Dao or the Dao of arrays, one can find enlightenment from it. Moreover, it is a supreme spirit technique. This spirit technique is called returning to one. Please enlighten me, Senior." Ningqing spoke with a respectful tone. Zhongli Baiqi shook his head again. "If I could enlighten you, it would not be called returning to one. Everyone's returning to one is different, and it is the same for you." Chapter 571. Zhongli Baiqi held the leather scroll in his hand and looked at it for a long time before giving out a sigh. He then handed the leather scroll back to Ningqing and said, "This kind of thing can only be understood and not explained. I originally wanted to take you as a disciple, but unfortunately, I can't teach you anything." Ningqing knew that Zhongli Baiqi was not an ordinary person, so he quickly bowed and spoke. "I don't need Master to teach me returning to one. Master can teach me artifact crafting." Master Zhongli Baiqi suddenly understood. "Yes, I came to you to teach you artifact crafting. How could I forget? Are you willing to take me as your master?" Ningqing quickly replied, "Of course. Wasn't this nonsense? He came to Zhongli Baiqi's store to learn artifact crafting. Well, sit down. In fact, I already wanted to take you as a disciple when I knew that you possessed the celestial river flame and had such a powerful spiritual consciousness. After that, you spent 3 months reading 1/10 of my book, which made me very satisfied." Not waiting for Zhongli Baiqi to continue, Ningqing quickly spoke up. "Master, I've finished reading that book." "Really? Then take it out and let me have a look." Zhongli Baiqi stared at Ningqing with big eyes. Ningqing quickly took out the basics of crafting artifact crafting, but when he opened the first page, he suddenly felt dumbfounded. He had never seen this kind of content before. Moreover, it not only contained the names of the materials, but also contained the fusion methods for crafting artifacts, as well as some array formation engraving methods. Zhongli Baiqi slowly spoke up from the side. "This book also contains the content on crafting various weapons. If you want to become a top-notch Starry Sky artifact crafting master, then you have to slowly learn from it. If you want to become a unique artifact crafting master, then don't learn from it." Ningqing looked at Zhongli Baiqi in doubt. What did this mean? The Dao of artifact crafting is a Dao. No matter how powerful this book is, it is still written by someone else and not something innate. It belongs to someone else's Dao. If you follow this book to learn, it would be equivalent to falling into someone else's Dao. A true artifact crafting master must have his own Dao, which is the Tao of artifact crafting. You can't refine middle-grade Tao artifacts right now because you have yet to fully comprehend your own Tao. Zhongli Baiqi spoke with a calm voice. Seeing Ningcheng about to ask, Zhongli Baiqi raised his hand to stop Ningcheng's words. You don't have to ask me. You don't have to think about it right now. You will understand it later. You were able to see the countless changes in the origin divine ability return to one, so it's clear that you have a type of origin within you. Ningcheng was surprised in his heart. Zhongli Baiqi did not seem to have any malicious intentions towards him. But the matter of him possessing the mysterious yellow origin was too much of a secret. How did he know about it? Zhongli Baiqi seemed to know what Ningcheng was thinking and waved his hand. You don't have to worry about it. I don't care about what kind of origin you have. I did accept you as my disciple for a purpose, but it's not what you think. As for my goal, I'll tell you after you've learned it. At that time, I'll need your help. There weren't many origin divine abilities, but the unity divine ability was very impressive. Now that you've obtained it, it's your destiny. Ningcheng picked up the returning to one leather scroll and handed it to Zhongli Baiqi. Master, since this thing is so amazing, then give it to Master. Zhongli Baiqi showed a smile. Don't play games with me. This thing is amazing, but it has no use for me. I have my own Tao and will not study this kind of origin spirit technique. The more origins one obtains, the better it is. This time, the immortal jade star appeared, and I heard that it contains an origin. You can go in and try your luck. This disciple is planning to go in and have a look. Ningcheng replied. He wanted to go in and have a look. Apart from the origin, what he wanted the most was the starry sky wheel. However, Zhishjun had not contacted him yet, so he did not know if he could obtain a quota. Zhongli Baiqi shook his head. If you hadn't met me, even if you managed to come out, it would have been a dead end for you. Ningcheng looked at Zhongli Baiqi in surprise. Why? Why? Zhongli Baiqi sneered. It's because the cultivation method you study is a primal chaos cultivation method. Ningcheng grew even more panicked. He had studied the mysterious yellow formless, but he did not know what grade of cultivation method it was. However, elder brother Tsongwei had mentioned that his mysterious yellow bead was a good fortune treasure. From this he understood that the mysterious yellow formless was not a simple thing. Zhongli Baiqi, on seeing Ningcheng's panic, spoke up with a softer tone. In this vast starry sky of ours, there are countless cultivation methods and inheritances. However, there is a cultivation method called the primal chaos cultivation method. Because this cultivation method overrides a positional plane, the cultivators who cultivate it do not have celestial wheels. However, you happen to be a cultivator without celestial wheels. Ningcheng tried to calm himself down. Master, I'm not the only cultivator without celestial wheels. There are a lot of them everywhere. I heard that cultivators in the celestial bridge realm do not have celestial wheels, so why am I in danger? Zhongli Baiqi looked at Ningcheng like an idiot. Do you know why the starry sky cultivators in our positional plane have celestial wheels? If a cultivator has celestial wheels, it means that he or she is recognized by this universe and possesses the power of celestial wheels bestowed by this universe. If one does not have celestial wheels, then there are only two reasons. First, the cultivation method cultivated by this cultivator is garbage, and his cultivation method is not worthy of being recognized by this starry sky. This kind of cultivator can only reach the heavens mandate realm at most, and it is absolutely impossible to condense a heaven seat. There are indeed a lot of such cultivators, and because of this, no one has ever suspected you. Second, the cultivation method cultivated by this cultivator is heaven-defying, and has exceeded the starry sky of this side of the universe. The laws of his cultivation method far exceed the starry sky of this side. So how could this side of the universe's starry sky bestow a cultivator with celestial wheels? Since you do not have celestial wheels, it is obviously not because your qualifications are poor or your cultivation method is garbage, but because your cultivation method exceeds the starry sky of this side of the universe. Otherwise, your spiritual consciousness would not be able to penetrate my flames. Ningcheng felt cold sweat trickling down his back. He had seen many cultivators with poor qualifications without celestial wheels, but he did not care about it. He thought that it was also because of his lack of qualifications. He did not expect that there would be such a terrible trap. Master, does that mean that the primal chaos cultivation method is the most powerful? When Ningqing asked this question, he had already tacitly agreed that his mysterious yellow formless was a primal chaos cultivation method. Zhongli Baiqi gave out a sigh and spoke. I heard that walking out of the primal chaos is a good fortune cultivation method, but even I am not very clear about it. If that is the case, then the most powerful cultivation method should be a good fortune cultivation method. He did not know whether his mysterious yellow formless was a primal chaos cultivation method or a good fortune cultivation method. Because you cultivate a primal chaos cultivation method, I have no way to teach you. Therefore, I can only teach you artifact crafting. Zhongli Baiqi, on seeing Ningqing remain silent, did not continue to talk about cultivation methods. Ningqing quickly spoke. Then I ask Master to teach me. This disciple will definitely work hard to learn crafting artifacts. Zhongli Baiqi stared at Ningqing and spoke. I've already taught you. What? Ningqing also stared at Zhongli Baiqi with wide eyes. When did that happen? Isn't he a little too good at bluffing? A Dao artifact first has a Dao, and then there is an artifact. You must first comprehend your own Dao, and then refine an artifact. When you have your own Dao, you can integrate your own Dao into weapon forging, and you can step into tools Dao. This is the last time I will teach you. If you don't understand it, then forget it. Zhongli Baiqi spoke with some dissatisfaction. That's it. After Ningqing heard it, he felt as if 10,000 horses were galloping in his heart. That's it. Zhongli Baiqi spoke with certainty. Ningqing felt speechless. With such an artifact crafting master, he might as well not have taken him as an apprentice. Just by teaching him a few words, Zhongli Baiqi had already taken him as an apprentice. One must know that he had just taken him as an apprentice. In desperation, Ningqing continued to ask, are the most powerful things within the starry skies Dao artifacts? Are those starry sky battleships and the flowing sky cannons from the technological planets more powerful than Dao artifacts? Zhongli Baiqi spoke up with disdain. Things from the technological planets? Bah, that's just garbage, a child's toy. People with no ability like to use these things. Ningqing did not feel surprised by Zhongli Baiqi's words. He had personally witnessed the large-scale lethality of a celestial river-class battleship. Seeing Ningqing's disapproval, Zhongli Baiqi gave a snort and spoke. When your cultivation reaches a certain level, you will understand what I mean. After Dao artifacts, there are still spirit artifacts. Moreover, there are countless treasures more powerful than spirit artifacts. However, these are not things that humans can refine. These are all opportunities and treasures. If you have the opportunity, you will obtain them. If you don't have the opportunity, even if a treasure appeared in front of you, you would not be able to obtain it. Then may I ask, Master, what is the most powerful treasure? Ningqing originally wanted to ask about the origin of the 5 elements treasure fall copper coin. However, when the words reached his mouth, he changed them. Zhongli Baiqi shook his head. There is no such thing as the most powerful treasure in the vast universe, only more powerful treasures. The cycle of heaven and earth, all things counteract each other. This is an unchanging truth. If you really understood returning to one, then returning to one would be the most powerful treasure for you. Ningqing secretly thought that even if he understood returning to one, the most powerful treasure for him would not be returning to one, but sunset's twilight. Zhongli Baiqi did not know what Ningqing was thinking and continued. In fact, it is not that there are no truly powerful treasures. I heard that when the universe first opened, there were several kinds of good fortune treasures. Ningqing quickly asked, Master, what are good fortune treasures? Are there many of these treasures? Zhongli Baiqi gave out a sigh. I only heard that a good fortune indestructible axe fell in our world, but I don't know anything else. Then how can I obtain this axe? Your appetite is not small, wanting to obtain the good fortune indestructible axe. Zhongli Baiqi gave a snort. Good fortune treasures are not something that you can obtain just because you want to. This kind of treasure chooses its master. Ningqing suddenly understood. Previously, elder brother Wei had mentioned that the mysterious yellow bead needed to gather all 5 kinds of origins before it could form a world. He had also said that finding these 5 kinds of origins in the vast universe, wouldn't it be extremely difficult? In fact, he had already obtained 2 kinds of origins. From this, it could be seen that good fortune treasures truly had a kind of connection. That is, once a good fortune treasure recognized a master, these origins would then appear in front of the master's eyes. Otherwise, they might never appear. No wonder he could get some information about origins from time to time. It turned out to be like this. In the vast starry sky universe, there were indeed some things that could not be explained clearly. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.